It's the Southern Ohio Copperheads and the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers live from Bob Wren Stadium. My name's Sedric Granger. I'm joined by Tim Hanna as we're about to be underway. It's Colin Ryan on the mound, and he'll be pitching to Jacob Armsy. The first pitch is inside for ball number one. As we're getting started with leg two of the doubleheader, where the Copperheads fell in the first game 1-6. As we'll see the second pitch from Colin Ryan to Armsy as the 1-0 is up high for ball number two. So it's 2-0 to Jacob Armsy as the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers now have won 3 straight games and have evened up their record at 18-18. Copperheads are at 14-21 as we see the 2-0 pitch taking over the plate for strike number one. So it's 2-1. As Tim, you got to go and see that first game. Copperheads were in it to the very end, and then it just kind of slipped away in the 7th.
Yeah, it was a tough outing for Matt Gilkey there at the end. But, I mean, realistically, Sedric, you've got to hope that the offense puts up more than just one run. I mean, we saw them leave the bases loaded early in the game as well, too. So can't 100% blame the pitching staff in that one, but we'll see if they're able to bounce back.
2-2 is inside. Now the count is 3-2 for Jacob Armsy from University of South Carolina Upstate. That was the Ohio Bobcats' first matchup this season down there in Spartanburg, as we'll see the 3-2 pitch. And it goes outside of the plate, hitting the outside of the zone for strike number 3. That's one for Colin Ryan. And when it comes to this season, Colin Ryan has had some pretty impressive totals. He had an immaculate inning versus the Scouts, as well as a league-high 11 strikeouts against the Zinga Scouts in a later matchup. So it just seems like whenever he plays against the Scouts, he's always able to show up. But now playing against another team that wears light blue and navy, we'll see if he performs very well. As the next batter up is Pollard. And Michael Pollard is from St. Peter's University, and we played the March Madness theme for him as St. Peter's, their basketball team, made it all the way to the Elite Eight as we see the first pitch hitting the inside of the zone for strike number 1. So now it's 0-1 to Michael Pollard.
Umpire favoring that inside part of the plate. We'll see if that trend continues, but really solid pitching to get things started here from Colin Ryan.
It will be needed, especially if these doubleheaders and having so many games in a row, it's essential to be able to save as many arms as you can. Of course, as these are the last couple of games as we're in the final stretch, game 36 out of 38 here in this season. But it is essential to make sure everybody gets their one last time to pitch or maybe 2 last times to pitch, and for it to be a great day, as we'll see the 1-2 count from Colin Ryan. And it's fouled off by Pollard, so count remains 1-2. As the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers, they lead the league in home runs this season with 26, and we saw that home run by Reinhardt close off the game, or actually, mistake that, it was Cross who hit that home run. We'll see the 1-2 goes to the right side of the plate for ball number 2. So we're evened up at 2-2 on Teacher Appreciation Night. There's many great teachers in the house, and when we look back and think back to our lives, we all have had a teacher that's really impacted our lives. So it's great to honor those people, as the 2-2 is going to be chopped right over to Jordan Long. He takes it on one hop, throws it out to Mitch Class. No problem for out number 2. So 2 down in the inning, and that'll bring on the third batter, the switch hitter, Josh Cross, who we just previewed. He had the homer in the last game.
Similar start in this one as the last game, Sedric. Copperheads defense coming out, playing really well, and this game's going to be all about what the offense can do as we move into the later parts of this game. If the offense is not going to be able to score runs, it's going to be really difficult for the Copperheads to get out of this one.
And we see a hit right down Broadway by Cross. That makes 2 straight plate appearances where he's been able to get hits. This time it is a single right to center field. So that's 1 on in the inning, 2 outs. No score here in the top of the first inning, as we're going to see Jace Reinhardt, who's the 4th batter in the lineup, and the other batters will be Nathan Archer batting 5th, Andrew Horvath batting 6th, Eli Snyder batting 7th, Brady Renfro batting 8th, Mason Montgomery batting 9th. And then for the Copperheads, their defensive alignment, you want to go over that, Tim?
Only a couple of switches from the first game. Mitch Class, Mason Adoni on the corners, the Minnesota boys. Maverick Stallings comes into game number 2. He'll play shortstop. Jordan Long will slide over to second. Bam Thomas comes into the outfield. He'll join Clayton Hodges and Trey Rucker.
So a few switches from game 1 to game 2, seeing Maverick Stallings check in, as well as Bam Thomas check into the game as well and get into the batting order as the count is 0-1 to Reinhardt as Ryan delivers his pitch. It goes over the plate for strike number 2. One thing Ryan does a lot is throw those strikes. He's been able to find the strike zone all season long.
Yes, he has. Obviously, we saw the immaculate inning earlier this year, but 11 strikeouts as well in another game against Xenia.
So it's one runner on in the top of the first of a scoreless game. We see the 0-2 pitch. It's over the plate for strike number 3. They got Reinhardt looking. Colin Ryan already with a solid start. 2 Ks for him as the Copperheads and Ice Haulers are scoreless here at Bob Wren Stadium. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the first inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the first is presented to you by Ohio Health as well as Larry's Doghouse. So we're thankful to both of our sponsors. I have myself a Copperhead Crunch Dog. And Tim, it's an absolute shame that I can only have a Copperhead Crunch Dog only 2 more times here at the ballpark.
I know, Cedric. You're going to have to load up before the season ends here.
Yeah, maybe grab one at the end of the game, and then might be a special menu order as well, as Copperheads and Ice Haulers are tied up at 0 going into the bottom of the first, as the pitcher today is Orlando Lloyd for Sandusky Bay. He goes to the University of Tennessee, who have spent a lot of time this year as the #1 team in college baseball before they were upset before making it to the College World Series. He's from Toledo, Ohio. He has an ERA of 5.62 and has struck out 12 on this season. So for the Copperheads, their batting order will be as followed. It'll be Trey Rucker batting first, followed by Clayton Hodges, Kyle Ratliff, Mason Nadolny, Bam Thomas, Maverick Stallings batting 6, Mitch Class batting 7, Jordan Long 8th, and Sebastian Silva rounding it out at 9th. The catcher, he's the last one on the roster right now, as we've seen players go home and have to take care of their other commitments, but Sebastian Silva's been holding down the fort at catcher, so he'll be batting 9th. But to the top of the lineup for the Copperheads, it's Trey Rucker. He drove in the only run of the last game, where the Copperheads fell 6-1, falling to 14-21 on the year. As Lloyd will set up, deliver the first pitch, and it is over the plate for strike number 1. So it's 0-1 to Trey Rucker. Rucker's on a 6-game hit streak right now. The 0-1. It's going to be hit right over to the third baseman, crosses it over to Snyder for out number 1.
Pretty well hit ball by Trey Rucker, and as this game continues, he'll be looking to find the gap and really end this season on a high note, as you talked about, Cedric. The 6-game hit streak, trying to extend that one to 7.
So now batting for the Southern Ohio Copperheads, it's Clayton Hodges, who's batting .282 on the year, driven in 14 RBIs for the sophomore out of Jacksonville University. And he'll see if he can figure out Lloyd, as there's 1 down in the inning. It is scoreless here in the bottom of the first. As Lloyd sets up on the mound, deals the pitch, and gets on that low portion of the plate down and right for a strike. So it's 0-1. As you got a bigger strike zone, I feel like, than most of the other umpires, as you're getting a lot of space inside, a lot of space outside as well. Could favor a pitcher-friendly matchup, as we'll see the 0-1 pitch coming to Clayton Hodges. The 0-1 fouls it off into the netting. It's 0-2. But look at the standings right now. On the other side of things, the Ice Haulers have a lot to play for as they're right in the mix for that second spot. They've already been eliminated from first place as the Michigan Monarchs have locked that up. But the Locos, Jetbox, and Ice Haulers are all fighting for it. So Ice Haulers trying to come in and win two and get their record above 500 as we see a high pop fly into foul territory. It looks like it's going to go into the stands. It takes one hop and right into the lap of a fan.
Nice little souvenir they'll get to go home with.
Of course.
The field's starting to fill up a little bit more now. First game, a little bit lower attendance, but of course, you know, first pitch was at 5 o'clock, so people getting off of work, just getting done with the day. But now 7:45 here local time. People are ready for some Friday night baseball.
For sure. As we'll see the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed for strike number 3. So strikeout number 1 for Orlando Lloyd. 2 out in the inning. As on that last play on the foul ball that was kept by a fan, all foul balls at Bob Wren Stadium can be kept thanks to Goldsberry Wealth Strategies. And also, I think a reason why we didn't have as many people here, this was a bonus home game. This wasn't supposed to be a home game on paper, so we just got that as an extra bonus. It was supposed to be a road game. As Kyle Ratliff is now up with nobody on, 2 outs. First pitch is way outside for ball number 1. So the count is 1-0 to Ratliff.
Copperheads lost a home game in that Xenia Scouts series as we had a rain out here on a doubleheader night, so ended up playing a doubleheader up at their place. So the Copperheads lost a home game, and then we're able to get one back here thanks to the weather up in Sandusky. And so it's nice to be able to give one more game to these fans.
Yep, when you give back to others, it comes back to you. That's what the Copperheads have learned. As we got the 2-0 pitch to number 2, Kyle Ratliff. It's a deep drive out in the left field, going back towards the wall, and it is gone. That's an hasta la vista for Kyle Ratliff, his 11th one of the season.
Kyle Ratliff doing what he does best, and that's entertain these fans here at Bob Wren Stadium. Another home run for Kyle Ratliff.
Not only does this man have hits in every game in the month of July, but he now has 5 home runs in his last 6 games. He hit 2 against the Ice Haulers the last time he played them on the road trip to Sandusky, and now he burns them again. All 3 of his home runs against Sandusky have been over that left field wall. So it's a 1-0 game with the Copperheads in the lead after the solo shot from Kyle Ratliff, and that brings on Mason Nadolny, the guy that Kyle Ratliff's kind of battling for the highest batting average on the team. Nadolny back in the lead after being down by 1/1000th coming into the first game of this doubleheader, and now in the second game, Mason Nadolny's batting .338, Kyle Ratliff batting .333, but his total is going to go up after that homer as we see a little bit of a bloop out into left field. It's down for a base hit. Mason Nadolny just jogs his way over to first base. That's another base hit for your Copperheads. Hit number 2, and with 2 outs, 1 runner on, the Copperheads trying to form a 2-out rally here at home.
Kind of offensive start that this team needs after a little bit of a lackluster offensive performance in the first game, and now already 1 run aboard here in the first, trying to add to that total. And it's going to take more than 1 run to beat this Ice Haulers team, so being able to score as many as you can quickly is going to be a key for this team.
Ashton Bam Thomas is up, takes the first pitch inside and low for ball number 1. So it's a 1-0 count and a 1-0 game in favor of the Southern Ohio Copperheads. They took a lead 1-0 in the last game, and then were stifled for the rest of these innings. So the Copperheads are going to try to not have history repeat itself here in game number 2 as Lloyd delivers the pitch, and now there's a deep fly ball out in the left field. Pollard is underneath it, makes a catch. That's out number 3. Copperheads leave 1 on, but do score 1 thanks to a Kyle Ratliff solo shot out to left field. So the Copperheads are up 1-0 going into the top of the second. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. the top of the second inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. Top of the second is presented to you by Jackie O's. So for all our Copperheads fans over the age of 21, make sure to get yourself a Homer's Hazy IPA. For all our fans over 21, once again, enjoy that beverage. Copperheads are up 1-0 after a solo shot to left field by Kyle Ratliff. And we saw a lot of homers in that game up in Sandusky between the Copperheads and the Ice Haulers. There were 6, 3 by each team, 2 by Ratliff, 1 by Stallings for the Copperheads home run totals. And I was surprised there was only 1 home run in that first game. I know this game park is a little bit of a bigger ballpark, Tim, so maybe that could be a reason, but there was a lot of big shots in that first game.
Yeah, I'm actually more surprised we only saw those 2 home runs last night at Heath High School. Would have a bit of a smaller ball. Bit of a smaller ballpark. Would have liked to potentially see a couple more of those. And we'll get another shot tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Sunday. Getting my days mixed up here.
Sure is. It feels like a weekend already, but it is a weekday as the 1-0 pitch out to Nathan Archer is outside for ball number 2. So it's 2-0 to Nathan Archer at a BGSU. Used to play in the Ohio Bobcats this season. There's a lot of players on this Ice Hauler roster that has played against the Bobcats this season. Seen a couple people from USC Upstate, a couple Bowling Greens, Akron, Toledo. All over their roster, there's teams that have played against the Bobcats, whether it was at Bob Wren or in their home stadiums, as the count is 2-1 to Archer with Colin Ryan still on the mound, delivers the pitch. It's going to be chopped over to Mason Adani, who has some trouble, fumbles it once, but throws it out there to Mitch Class, and the runner is safe. It was a solid throw, but he had to field it clean if he wanted to get there in time and pay the price.
It's a tough throw it's a tough break for the Copperheads. The throw from Mason Adoni, usually a pretty high efficiency fielding guy for much of the season, been at 100% fielding percentage. And that's a very rare error from Nadolny. Kind of snow-coned off his glove a little bit.
So Archer reaches on the E5, and that'll bring on Andrew Horviff, the right fielder from the University of Akron, who played right here on this field in the Ohio-Akron series. As we'll see the runner go, there's the throw down to second base. It's not going to be in time as Archer is able to set his sights on second base, and he steals it.
Another nice throw from Silva. Getting that ball down there in time.
So with Archer on second, Horvath faces an 0-1 count with nobody out here in the top of the second inning. Copperheads up 1-0, but the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers trying to change that as Ryan deals the pitch on a little bit of a breaking ball. It doesn't break low enough into the zone, so that's 1-1 to Horvath. Andrew Horvath in their game against the Settlers yesterday went 0 for 2, but did score a run and has 1 homer on the year. As many guys on this lineup for the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers have at least 1 home run to their name, as the 1-1 pitch is going to go and hit the strike zone on the outside. So the count is 1-2 to Horvath. Ice Haulers seem to have the Settlers number, as the Copperheads have struggled against the Settlers all year long. Only 1 win in 8 tries. Of the 4 tries that the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers have had against the Settlers, the Ice Haulers have won 3 out of those 4 matchups. As the 1-2 pitch is a big swing. It's a big miss. That's strike number 3, and the 3rd strikeout of the day for Colin Ryan.
Pitching really well, able to find the zone on that.
So 1 down in the inning, and that'll bring on the first baseman, Eli Snyder, out of Seton Hill University, Bridgeville, Pennsylvania. He's driven in 7 RBIs and is batting .225 on the season for the Ice Haulers, looking to sneak into the playoffs. They spent a lot of time as the number 1 seed in the North Division, as we'll see a high pop fly going up into almost no man's land. Hodges running for it, gets underneath it, makes the catch, 2 down.
Good job by Hodges to hustle and get underneath that one and hold that runner at second base. Takes away the sac fly opportunity from third base now.
Archer is on second base with 2 runners down. Colin Ryan, pitcher for the Copperheads, will take a breath and set up as he will go against Brady Renfro out of Valparaiso University. Joins Carson Shepard as a representative of Wisconsin here in this matchup, as we'll see the first pitch going to be hit out right in between Jordan Long and Mitch Class. Down for a base. It looks like the runner's going to go home. He's sliding in, and Archer is safe at the plate. So game is tied up off of the RBI single from Renfro. So it is all tied up here in the top of the second inning. And that'll take us to the bottom of the order with Montgomery. From the MAC, Bowling Green State. And Renfro is the one runner on right now on first base. Pitch over the plate for strike number one. So it's 0-1 to Brady Renfro on Teacher Appreciation Night. And the teaching theme will continue tomorrow morning, Tim, as we're going to have a youth clinic coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time here. We've got about 150 kids coming out to the field. Of course, Ohio Health sponsoring that event.
Pop fly into the infield. Mason Adani makes the catch, no problem. And that's 3 down in the inning. That retires the side. But the Copperheads do yield one off of an RBI single from Renfro, scoring Archer. And it's all tied up going into the bottom of the second. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the second inning here at Bob Arend Stadium. The bottom of the second is presented to you by Steak and Shake. Due up this inning in this game that's tied up at 1, Maverick Stallings, the 6th batter, Mitch Class, the 7th batter, and the 8th batter, Jordan Long, who will be due up this inning for the Copperheads, trying to take the lead back after we've seen this game tied up as Orlando Lloyd, pitching his second inning, delivers, and you see a pop fly up into right field by Maverick Stallings and goes down in foul territory. But it looks like the catch was able to be snagged. Good rush by Horvath, who's usually a catcher, but doing some right field duty, and he showcases that he can be good behind the dish or in the outfield.
3 catchers, Ethan and I were talking about this, 3 catchers all in the starting lineup today for the Ice Haulers. Obviously, Andrew Horvath, Jace Reinhardt behind the dish. Saw him out in right field during the first game, and then Josh Cross, the all-star catcher for the Sandusky Ice Haulers, playing third base today.
So here comes Mitch Class, who will pop one up out to center field. Archer takes a couple of steps to his left, makes the catch, and that's 2 pitches and 2 down for the Ice Haulers.
Not the way you want to start the inning. If you're the Copperheads, you've got to work this pitch count up a little bit, start to battle with these guys a little bit more. Obviously, jumping on a pitch you like to see is good as a hitter, but if you're not able to locate that ball and put it in play, it's going to be a really short afternoon for these guys.
So Orlando Lloyd misses on that pitch there, so the count is 1-0 as we'll see if anybody on the Copperheads can break the ice, so to speak. It's been 3 straight batters retired after the home run and the single from Ratliff and Nadani respectively, as with nobody on and 2 outs, the 1-0 pitch to Jordan Long is inside from Lloyd. So the count is 2-0 here at home for the Copperheads. We don't have a lot of home games left, just have tomorrow as the final game will be against the Ice Haulers and will be a fireworks night, the last one of the season, as we're starting to wind down here in summer, and it might be time for back to school. Scary as that sounds. The 3-0 to Jordan Long is up high, so it's a 4-pitch walk. After 2 pitches, 2 outs, we see 4 straight balls. As now Jordan Long reaches first base, and that'll bring on Sebastian Silva. Shout out to Charlie Clegg doing a little bit of PA announcing there with Ethan Sargent as well. Even saw Trevor Stevens join the fun with the PA announcing. Always great being able to be out there. As Sebastian Silva, the last catcher on the roster, try to hold down the fort. He has recorded a run in 4 out of his last 5 games. As we'll see the pickoff attempt, not in time, to Jordan Long. Oh, they tried to fake throw. Quite clever there by Snyder, but Jordan Long was not fooled. As on first base, we saw Snyder try to fake the throwback to Orlando Lloyd. Was hoping Jordan Long would go back to go get a leadoff, and Long stayed disciplined on the base pass. As we'll see the first pitch that is down low for a ball. So the count is 1-0 to Silva. With 2 down in the inning, we're all tied up at 1 here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. The 1-0, that time it goes over the inside of the plate for a strike. So the count is 1-1, evened up to number 29, Sebastian Silva out of Virginia Military Institute, batting 104 on the season and driven in a single RBI. He's also scored quite a bit of runs, has 6 of them on the year. He's had to rotate a lot early on. He's behind Josh Steidel and Matt Friesen at the catcher position, and now as the year has gone on, his workload has increased, and we've seen a lot more of him. As we'll see the 2-1 pitch goes inside for a ball. So the count is 3-1, a good hitter's count here for Sebastian Silva.
If he's able to draw a walk here, that'll be huge with Trey Rucker, the top of the order, coming back up in this one.
Pickoff attempt there, not in time. As Jordan Long slides in safe, he's the the runner on first. As we'll see the 3-1 pitch from Orlando Lloyd out of the University of Tennessee is the 3-1. It's going to be popped up foul for a strike. So it's now 3-2 as the payoff pitch will be incoming with 2 outs in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Can the Copperheads stay alive? Lloyd sets the payoff pitch. Jordan Long goes after second base, and it is for a base hit, laced down the first base line. Jordan Long running around third. He's getting the sign. He trips, though, as he was going to have a chance at home plate. But it will be a stand-up double for Sebastian Silva, but a tough break as the turf monster comes to bite the Copperheads.
TJ Lanning getting a bit of a laugh down there. Now at third base, Jordan Long full speed ahead. Came flying around that third base corner and getting some laughs, some cheers from his teammates down there in the dugout. Some of the fans kind of laughing it off with him, but tough break for the Copperheads as Jordan Long probably would have beat the throw.
Yeah, but at least it's good you can get a laugh out of it. It's also a good thing we didn't get that on video. Oh, wait. Here's the first pitch to Trey Rucker. Goes over the outside of the plate for strike number 1. So the count is 0-1 to Trey Rucker, who grounded out to third base the first time he was up on the second pitch of the game, or second pitch for the Ice Haulers, rather, in the bottom of the first. Is the 0-1. It's going to be fouled backwards for strike number 2. So it's 0-2 with 2 runners on. Silva on second after he hit the stand-up double, and Jordan Long on third base.
Big spot for the Copperheads. Here trying to not leave any guys on base.
And Rucker kind of gets out there. He kind of moved out to the outside of the plate to be able to make that play. And it looks like Silva's back in safe, and Jordan Long comes across the plate for a run. So another RBI for Trey Rucker, make it 2 games in a row as Rucker kind of reached out to make that play and ended up hitting it right down center field and in between the alley between shortstop and second base. It's a 2-1 game here at Bob Wren Stadium with the Copperheads back in the lead.
Nice little two-out rally by the Copperheads here, and continue to just keep putting them on here. Continue to cycle guys through this lineup and start to work this pitcher down after 2 pitches and 2 outs to start the inning.
First pitch to Hodge is going to be chopped right over to the second baseman who steps on the bag for out number 3. So Copperheads able to put up 1 and take the lead back from the Ice Haulers. They're up 2-1 going into the top of the 3rd inning. It was in the Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. The top of the 3rd inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. Top of the 3rd is presented to you by OUCU Financial, where you belong. Copperheads are up 2-1 as Colin Ryan goes into his 3rd inning of work. 2 up for the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers, which is a handful of a name, but such a dope name if you ask me. It's Armsy, Pollard, and Cross, the top of the order, 1, 2, 3. And Tim, I'm glad to have you with me for these opening innings, but I heard you're going to be competing here later.
Yeah, I'm going to be taking off here in the 5th inning and going down to run in the mascot dash. Got quite a few mascots here at the park tonight running in the mascot dash. I'll be representing Orange Crush, our favorite race throughout the games. It'll be a little bit of a shorter race today. It's only third base to home base around home plate. Bit of a shorter race today, which is really nice because I forgot to stretch before I came to the ballpark today. And the last time I ran Orange Crush also didn't stretch. And, well, Cedric, let's just say I didn't get out of bed very easily on Monday morning.
It is. We're starting to get old up in here, Tim. We're not as young as we used to back in our playing days. You with baseball, me with my football and volleyball days. You can feel yourself losing a step as the 5-year-olds pass you in the race.
Listen, she was in 3rd grade, okay, and those kids have sneaky speed. She also had about a 30-yard head start on me, and I have not run competitively since 2016. So
excuses. As we got Armsy, who will be leading off in this inning as Colin Ryan delivers a pitch right down the gully for strike number 1. That's a way to get it started here in the top of the 3rd inning. Copperheads up 2-1, and they'll try to keep their lead as Colin Ryan deals the second pitch of the inning, and it goes low and outside for a ball. So it's evened up at 1-1. On quite a beautiful night. It's quite hot, though. It is a scorcher. I was talking to assistant coach Chase Harris, and he was not looking forward to having to pitch BPs earlier today. And fortunately for the Copperheads, they got to do an indoor batting cages for their batting practice. But if they had to do it outside, sometimes the temperatures range to about 125 on the turf as the 1-2 pitch is going to go low. So the count is evened up at 2-2. And it's still pretty hot in the press box. I think I'm sweating a little bit here. Even though we do have a little AC that's trying to sneak its way in here, it just seems like the outside air is winning that battle.
One of the nice things about being able to use Ohio University's facilities is that indoor batting cage.
2-2 chop to Jordan Long, who fields it on one hop, delivers it out to Mitch Class for the 4-3 ground out. So that's 1 down in the inning, and that'll bring on Michael Pollard, who the last time he was up, he grounded out to Jordan Long. So a little bit of deja vu there. And we'll see what Pollard can do with nobody on, 1 out. Copperheads up 2-1 as Copperheads have amassed 4 hits. and the Ice Haulers have 3. Ice Haulers making the 4-hour trip, as we'll see a high pop fly into foul territory towards the grass berm on the third base side, actually first base side rather, and the count is quickly 0-1. Colin Ryan has done great things at pitcher this year. Might be our last time seeing him pitch. He has a ERA of 4.1 and has 29 strikeouts going into this game, and he's added to that total a little bit, as we'll see the 0-1 pitch in for a strike. It looks like everybody's taking a tumble. We saw Jordan Long take a tumble. Now we see Colin Ryan take a tumble. But the Copperheads, of course, laughing it off. That's the type of team we are. Even in our faults, we're being able to laugh at it and keep going forward and keep moving on. And we'll see if the Copperheads can continue that sort of mentality throughout the rest of the year, as we'll see the 0-2 pitch on its way.
Not to forget that Ryan also a GLSCL Pitcher of the Week a couple of weeks ago after that 11 strikeout day. Congratulations to him. He and Josh Steidel, the only 2 members of the Copperheads to be named to player or pitcher of the week. So we got one of each. Steidel obviously in that first week with the home run and the walk-off here on opening night.
The 1-2 is going to be chopped right over the head of Colin Ryan and out into center field, where Clayton Hodges will scoop it up, but not before the runner can make it to first base. So Michael Pollard gets himself a single, and now we're evened up on the hit total, 4 hits apiece for the Copperheads and Ice Haulers, and that'll bring on the ever so dangerous Josh Cross, who has 7 homers, which is 3rd in the league right now, behind Kyle Ratliff, who has 11. Actually, he might be tied for 2nd at this point now.
He is, yeah. Ethan and I just checked it during the last game. He moved his way up to 2nd place, still 3 home runs behind Kyle Ratliff, so unless we see a miracle today.
Yeah, make that now 4 after Kyle Ratliff hammered his 11th home run of the year, as we'll see the pitch there. I mean, he's hitting so many home runs, you can't even keep track anymore.
I know. Notes are outdated from the last game. It was a 3-run lead, or 3 home run lead. Now it is a 4.
Yeah, back to 4. It seems like whenever Ratliff has to deal with anybody coming close to his home run total, he seems to get those hits right in front of those home run leaders. We saw him do it against Austin Deering against the Richmond Jazz earlier this year, now doing it against Cross and Reinhardt, who both have pretty high home run totals, as the count is 1-0 to Josh Cross out of Medina, Ohio, batting .291, and is a switch hitter, which can be very dangerous. 4 pitchers to deal with, as the 1-0 is going to go inside and low, and the count is 2-0 with 1 down in the inning, 1 runner on in Pollard. Copperheads up 2-1. As Kyle Ratliff, he just needs 3 homers to break the record, 2 homers to tie it for the rest of this season. And that's the GLSCL record I'm referring to, as you see the pickoff attempt, which is not in time. So the count remains 2-0. As I think we were talking about players of the week, Kyle Ratliff is definitely due for player of the week. I mean, he's hit 5 home runs in the last 6 games. So more than due for it, as the 2-0 is going to be up high for ball number 3. Sebastian Silva getting out of his stance a little bit to make that catch. Colin Ryan trying to avoid a walk.
Yeah, Kyle Ratliff would be huge just to kind of cap off the season that he had if he is able to get a player of the week nod this week. As you said, Sedric, 5 home runs recently, so big time stuff for him, and definitely a lot of things that he's going to be able to take back to SIU in the fall.
See the 3-0 pitch coming from Colin Ryan, who delivers one that is too high, so that is a walk for Cross. So that puts Pollard on 2nd, Cross on 1st with 1 down in the inning. Armsy grounded out to 2nd base, and that'll bring on Reinhardt. Chase Reinhardt out of USC Upstate went 1 for 4 against the Licking County Settlers in the Sandusky Ice Haulers' big win over the Settlers. That was a huge win. It also added a little bit more parity to the South Division, as the Settlers looked like they were going to cruise to the 1 seed. Now they are sitting at the 1 slot. They are tied with the Hamilton Joes, but the Joes, who are in 2nd place, have already clinched their playoff berth due to their tiebreaker over the Steam and Settlers in a potential 3-way.
Yeah, a bit odd, actually. When I was looking at the standings, I was like, well, if the Hamilton Joes clinched but the Settlers didn't, they technically clinched 1st place. But no, I guess just the way that the matchups are set for these last 2 or 3 games that all the teams have, the Joes were able to lock up one of those spots. Of course, the Settlers have today and tomorrow off, and they'll host us again on Sunday for their final game of the year.
Yeah, there's still some games that definitely hold a lot of steam, as the Cincinnati Steam of all teams are going to be playing the Xenia Scouts, as the Scouts were just eliminated yesterday by the Settlers win over the Copperheads. But if the Cincinnati Steam win their last 3 and the Licking County Settlers fall to the Copperheads on Sunday, the Cincinnati Steam will make the playoffs. So Copperheads may have a shot to play spoiler depending on what goes down between the Joes and the Steam, or actually the Steam and the Scouts rather. We'll see the 0-2 pitch to Reinhardt outside. Good discipline from Reinhardt not to swing on that pitch going outside. And now the count is 1-2 with 2 runners on, 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. Copperheads trying to maintain their lead already with more runs in this game than they had in the last game total, as their streak of 4 consecutive games of at least 10 runs is now over, as we see a swing and miss there. That's strikeout number 4. Cash it in for Colin Ryan.
Yeah, Cedric, Ethan, and I were talking about it on the broadcast during the first game, but 45 runs in the last 4 games from the Copperheads, and then they come out here today and in the first game only scored 1 run, so something just not clicking today so far for this Copperheads team, and hopefully they can get back to those high-run type games. They'll definitely need one if they'd like to beat the Settlers on Sunday.
First pitch to Nathan Archer is outside for ball number 1. Nathan Archer reached on an error back in the top of the 2nd inning and was able to get all the way around for a run. He's the only runner to have scored, scoring off of an RBI single from Renfro. As we'll see the 1-0 pitch with 2 runners on from Colin Ryan. As he looks back, delivers his pitch. It's going to be a high pop fly out in the left field. Bam Thomas gets underneath it, makes the catch, and that retires the side. Copperheads yield nothing and keep their lead 2-1, and we'll try to work on that and build it up even more when we come back. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the 3rd inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the 3rd is presented to you by the Eclipse Company Store. Copperheads are up 2-1 as they'll get a chance to bat here, as it'll be Kyle Ratliff, Mason Nadolny, and Bam Thomas, who are all due up in this inning. And speaking of Ratliff, he has 11 home runs now on the season. And as of recently, I feel like the Copperheads have played on a lot of smaller ballparks. Out there at Sports Force Field number 3, center field was only about 355 feet. And that sort of adjustment could also help the Copperheads be able to score a couple more runs. We saw a couple guys get their first home runs in Clayton Hodges against the Settlers, and then we also saw a first home run from Maverick Stallings on the smaller field. So that could be a reason why having to adjust to the bigger field again, why they haven't been able to score as many runs in that first game.
Not too many home runs in those first couple of games, I should say not too many home runs in those games. I think there was 4 home runs total over the weekend. And these guys are used to playing in the bigger ballparks. Those are the 2 smallest ballparks in the league. So I just think it was maybe a bit of an adjustment getting back in front of the home crowd. Long travel day yesterday. Obviously the doubleheader today, potentially saving some energy for this game too. They got to play 14 innings instead of the normal 8.5 or 9. So we'll see them start to put it all together, and I'm sure we'll see some fireworks in tomorrow's home finale too. Should be an absolutely electric crowd tomorrow night.
It is actually, fireworks are guaranteed, as there will be a fireworks show after that game, as the pitch count is 2-0 to Kyle Ratliff. Orlando Lloyd delivers the 2-0, and it's going to be laced out in the left field with some velocity and bounces off of the wall on the perimeter of the field and hops on one ricochet right towards the dugout. That's very difficult to bounce it right off of the wall, but Ratliff's able to do it as the count is 2-1.
It's a 1 in a million shot right there, Sedric, off the foul line over there. One hop into the bullpen, something you don't see every day.
2-1 is off the mark outside, so now the count is 3-1. A solid hitter's count here for Kyle Ratliff, who went 2 for 3 against the Ice Haulers in game number 1 today. And total against the Ice Haulers, he is 5 for 9 with 2 homers. And if we factor in this game, he's 6 for 10 with 3 homers against the Ice Haulers. So he's been the guy whose bat is so hot, he's been able to melt all the ice of the Ice Haulers as the 3-1 is going to be laced out into foul territory. And the count is now full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Copperheads up 2-1 with nobody on. Kyle Ratliff, who hit a solo homer the last time he was up, will face the payoff pitch from Orlando Lloyd. As Lloyd sets, deals the pitch, hits up high. It's a walk for Kyle Ratliff. He's on first base.
Kyle Ratliff's the kind of guy that doesn't like to get walked. You see him look a little bit frustrated there. But, of course, smart baseball player knows when to take the walk. But, I mean, a power hitter like that can't be very happy when he stands in the box and gets 2 really solid rips on 2 foul balls and then ends up having to take a walk. But now he'll have to utilize that speed of his to get into scoring position for Mason Nadolny.
Here comes Mason Nadolny. Kyle Ratliff thought about stealing second. Wouldn't be surprised to see him make the play as Nadolny takes ball number 1. Mason Nadolny, who had his 4-game hit streak snapped yesterday, trying to build a new one. He had 2 hits in the first game against the Ice Haulers today, and will try to make it 2 games straight as he'll see the 1-0 pitch that is up high. He does a little limbo to get away from that one, and the count is 2-0.
Lloyd still trying to find his control a little bit. We see him when he's able to throw strikes to pound the zone and really challenge those hitters. And then a lot of the balls that he's had have either been really high or down in the dirt. A couple of skip behind Jace Reinhardt there behind the dish too. So still working on that control a little bit if you're Orlando Lloyd.
Copperheads trying to challenge Lloyd here as the 2-0 pitch. It's going to be swung on and missed for strike number 1. So the count is 2-1 to Mason Nadolny. He's batting .338 on the year, driven in 8 RBIs. And has done relatively well against the Ice Haulers. Went 3 for 5 with 2 runs, which was his season high for hits in a game. As Ratliff goes, it's going to be a pop fly right back to the pitcher. And that's going to be 1 down in the inning. Pop fly to Orlando Lloyd, showing the heads-up awareness on the mound and delivered it out to Snyder.
Got a really nice bounce on that, too, and was able to glove it, throw it over to first. Kyle Ratliff, a nice jump on the pitch to prevent a double play. Now 1 out here for Bam Thomas. We'll look to see him hit something deep into the outfield again, potentially advance Ratliff up to third base.
Yeah, we've seen Bam Thomas have the power. He does have the 1 homer, and he'll foul the first pitch back for a strike. As last game broke the 2-game streak the Copperheads have of having a guy get a home run for the first time this season, as we saw Maverick Stallings get a home run, and then Clayton Hodges get his first homer. And we'll see if that train can potentially go. There's a few guys in the lineup that don't have any homers yet, but do have the power to potentially get it there. As we see the 0-1 fouled off for strike number 2. So with 1 down, Kyle Ratliff is on second base as the sun begins to set and the weather starts to finally subside, as it was one of those days that just got hotter as the day went on. We saw it get into the 80s and then up into the low 90s. And it won't get any cooler the rest of this weekend. Apologize for not being able to stream the last game, as we had no Wi-Fi at Heath High School in that 20-10 losses. A lot of things happened in that game. Coppers did have some good, though. Ratliff hit a homer, as well as Clayton Hodges. They also had a 10-3 lead at one point, and then things fell off as the 0-2 is swung on and missed for strike number 3. So we see the second strikeout of the day for Orlando Lloyd, and that's how Bam Thomas goes down for out number 2. And that'll bring on Maverick Stallings, who had a home run against the Ice Haulers, and he'll get his chance to bat here against the team that he picked up that first homer. It was a big deal there. Came in the 6th inning of the game, scored a couple of runs for the Copperheads, and those 3 runs that happened on that were very essential for the Copperheads, as they only won that game 12-9, and it took a last inning effort from the Copperheads to stave off the Ice Haulers, who were hungry to come back in that one. They're one of those teams that also has a mascot to go with Homer of the Copperheads, and they had their mascot out there. Also have a field where you can see Cedar Point roller coasters in the distance, which for me as a coaster enthusiast, I nerded out about that, as we'll see the 1-0 down low and inside for ball number 2.
I'd like to see Maverick Stallings put something in play here to advance Kyle Ratliff. I know it's only a 1-run lead, but you saw how quickly those 1-run leads disappear.
He sure delivers right there, getting it underneath Armsy, and Kyle Ratliff legs it out for the 3rd run of the day for the Copperheads. Picking up the RBI is Maverick Stallings, and the Copperheads increase their lead to 2.
Well hit ball just past Josh Cross there at third base. Came off a rocket off the base there, or off the bat there, out into shallow left field.
Tim, you really spoke that into existence there. You were just talking about how important it would be for Maverick Stallings to pick up the hit. What does he do? Gets ahead as the announcer's jinx may be out the window. Hopefully it does not come back, as we'll see the first pitch to Mitch Class up high for a ball. So it's 1-0 with 2 outs, 1 runner on in Maverick Stallings. Copperheads up 3-1 off of 5 hits as the sun sets beautifully behind us. And we'll see the 1-0. It's going to be a high pop fly going into center field. Archer running with everything he got and makes the catch for out number 3. So the Copperheads have put up 1 run in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd innings, and they'll try to keep that trend going and try to yield nothing as the Sandusky Ice Haulers come back to bat. Listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the 4th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. Top of the 4th is presented to you by Larry's Doghouse, who have one of the best dogs I've ever had in the Copperhead Crunch Dogs. Got some chili, got some nice crispy onions, as well as some cheese and some Copperhead sauce. Nice little spicy relish type sauce, and it's absolutely fantastic. So, again, you got one more chance to make it out to the ballpark. It's tomorrow at 7:05. We'd love to see you there, as the Copperheads, who are now nursing a 3-1 lead, will try to keep it, as they'll have to deal with Horvath, Snyder, and Renfro, the 6, 7, 8 batters in the lineup for the Ice Haulers, who are wearing their gray jerseys here on the road, as we'll see the first pitch from Ryan, and he throws it up high for ball number 1. One of the best jerseys in the league, in my opinion, were the Ice Haulers all blue. Hope they'll wear that tomorrow so you can see that, Tim, as we'll see a high fly ball. Clayton Hodges takes about 7 paces to his left, makes the catch, and that's out number 1. So 1 up, 1 down here in the top of the 4th inning, as we're almost near halfway point of this game, just like that, Tim, as it is a 7-inning affair, as with normally on a doubleheader.
The one thing that we always talk about in these 7-inning games is how quickly it seems like the first 2 or 3 innings fly by, and then the teams kind of settle into it, and probably see a little bit more action here as this game progresses towards the end of it.
So in comes Eli Snyder, who takes the first pitch for a strike. He hit his first home run against the Copperheads back on the 18th, as we'll see the 0-1 swung on and missed. So 2 pitches, 2 strikes. We've seen only 4 pitches from Ryan. He's trying to get 2 outs and 5 pitches. We saw 2 outs and 2 pitches in the top of the 2nd inning, yet the Copperheads were still able to score a run, nevertheless, as we'll see the 0-2 pitch. Up high for ball number 1. Snyder doesn't swing at it, and the count is 1-2. In the top of the 4th inning, Copperheads up 3-1 over the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers, who've traveled 4 hours down south to make this game. As we'll see a big swing and miss there. That strikeout, count them up, Tim, number 5.
Colin Ryan able to find the strike zone early and often in this one, and this is exactly the performance the Copperheads need on the mound. Did give up that run, but again, the Copperheads offense continuing to do what they do and keep them in this game.
Brady Renfro, who was able to reach base the last time he was up on a single, and he did pick up that RBI scoring Archer, so it was a big hit. Takes the first pitch for a strike, so now we'll see the 0-1 pitch on its way. It's outside of the plate for ball number 1. So nobody on, 2 outs on a very, very muggy night. Copperheads up 3-1, trying to keep that lead, as we'll see the 1-1 pitch. Renfro swings and misses there for strike number 2, so it's 1-2. Copperheads trying to end the Ice Haulers' 3-game winning streak for a team that's mascot is so cold-themed. They have been hot as of lately. Copper's trying to cool them down as the 1-2 is up high. And the count is 2-2 for the Ice Haulers. Brady Renfro batting .235, driven in 11 RBIs. Try to get things going here in the top of the 4th inning. Colin Ryan thinks the exact opposite as the 2-2 pitch is outside, and we'll see a payoff pitch coming. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on.
Big spot here for Colin Ryan to get out of this inning. Don't want to give the potential for a 2-out rally like the Copperheads had.
Payoff pitch on its way, swung on and missed for a strike number 3. That's the 6th strikeout of the day, and 1-2-3 they go for Colin Ryan, as he's had an exceptional game. And the Copperheads are doing well so far, looking good going into the bottom of the 4th, up 3-1. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the 4th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the 4th is presented to you by Ohio Health. Copperheads are up 3-1 here at home, and they'll look to keep that lead and add to it potentially, as it's Jordan Long, Sebastian Silva, and Trey Rucker, the 8, 9, and 1 batters for the Copperheads that are due up this inning, as Orlando Lloyd goes to the mound for the Ice Haulers for his 4th inning of work. As Jordan Long, the last time he was up, he singled and was able to get all the way around the base paths for a run. He was driven in by Trey Rucker from his leadoff position. Jordan Long just broke out of a 6-game slump of no hits, and that's good for him to be able to get out of that. His Last hit prior to that one was against the Cincinnati Steam, and it was a big day for Long as he drove in 2 RBIs on July 4th in that 5-4 win, one of the biggest of the year for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. When we look back at this year, we're going to do a lot of reflecting, I think, over these last couple of games, Tim, of this season. And Jordan Long, that big day that he had against the Cincinnati Steam definitely mattered, as well as Mitch Klass coming through, Clayton Hodges, Josh Steidel, a couple of guys had really good days on that 4th of July holiday victory. It just seems like any big game, Copperheads always show up.
Yeah, that was a really big game as far as changing the trajectory of this team. You saw, a really tough couple of weeks leading up to, or ending June, rather. Really tough couple of weeks ending June, and then all of a sudden that July 4th got a couple of days off to start the month, and then that July 4th game started the Copperheads on that 6-game winning streak. So really a game that kind of shifted the trajectory of this team. This team was, not to say dead in the water, but, really tough outings night in and night out, and then that game set them on a path to take 6 straight.
The 3-0 pitch is up high, and that'll be a walk for Jordan Long. So he's able to reach first base. And now that'll bring on the next batter. The 9th batter in the lineup, rounding it all out, is Sebastian Silva, who doubled to right field and almost had an RBI if it wasn't for the turf monster stealing it away from him.
Still able to get Jordan Long across the plate, but yeah, have to talk to Jordan after the game tonight and see what was up with that. If he slipped, did he trip? Was it the base pad? Well, I wonder what it was.
We'll find out. It's a mystery as we see a deep drive out into right field by Silva, going back towards the wall, and it's caught at the track. Oh, we thought Silva hit that one out of the park for his first homer, but Horvath at the wall was able to shut the door for out number 1. Tim, I thought he had it.
Really solid contact on that ball, too. You could tell as soon as that ball went off the bat, it really popped. You heard the pop of the bat. Everybody in the crowd was like, oh, shoot, it's going all the way back. And then it looked like Horvath kind of lost it a little bit back there, too. Finally found it at the last second to make the catch back on the warning track.
So Sebastian Silva flies out to right field in a very loud out. And that'll bring on Trey Rucker, the top of the order, who had his 6th multi-hit game of the season yesterday. And we'll see the 1-0. Actually, this will be a pickoff attempt. Jordan Long slides back in. He's safe. And the count remains 1-0 to Trey Rucker. He's done a good job being able to pick up RBIs over these last couple of games. He always seems to come up with timely hitting. That was something that was a big problem for the Copperheads multiple times this season. Trey Rucker has really been able to answer that call. He's transferring over from Arizona State to San Junquito College. School a little bit closer to home. We'll see the 1-0. Fouled backwards over the press box for strike number 1. So the count reads 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Copperheads up 3-1 over the rivaling Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers, who this season have a pretty solid record against the South Division. They probably almost wish they were in this division, given that they're 5-2. The 1-1 on the breaking ball breaks just right for a strike. So the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out for Trey Rucker. Got 1 runner on in Jordan Long at first, who reached on a walk.
It'll be really interesting to see these playoffs kind of unfold. The Hamilton Joes, obviously a team with just an incredible pitching staff. The Licking County Settlers.
We see a drive out into left center field, and it's down for a base hit. Couldn't have hit it more perfectly as Jordan Long stops at third base. It's a standing double for Trey Rucker. It looked like he wanted to try to get another base there, and might have been some interference as Montgomery got in front of him on the base path. I think they're good friends there, and they're just trading some jokes and everything like that. But big play from Trey Rucker. This is his 7th multi-hit game of the season.
Trey Rucker playing really well as of lately and kind of settled into his role. He talked about how he was not a huge fan of hitting leadoff. Obviously hitting leadoff in this game really well. But once Coach Lanning kind of moved him farther back in the lineup, had a little bit extra room to work with, he's really come out of his shell and played really well.
Yeah, especially given the fact he comes up with so many timely hits. His position later in the lineup after guys with really high on-base percentages as well as really high batting averages, slugging percentage, all that sort of thing. You have Kyle Ratliff, Mason Adoni, right in front of him in that first game, and he's able to really take advantage and execute in those situations. As it looks like we'll have a short meeting as the coach of the Ice Haulers, Coach Jared Hagan, goes to have a conversation with Orlando Lloyd. Lloyd, of course, being able to get a scholarship to an SEC school, that is no laughing matter there. It's not just anybody gets a baseball scholarship into the SEC, so definitely speaks to the skill and the potential that he might have here on the mound.
Tennessee, one of the top programs in the country, too, at baseball. Had one of the better teams in the one of the best regular seasons, actually, of all time this year in college baseball. And upset in the, I believe it was the Super Regional, wasn't it?
Yeah, Notre Dame got them, if memory serves me correctly, as they were quite close to being able to get into the College World Series, but no dice. Notre Dame was able to pull off the massive upset as the count is 0-1 to the next batter here, Clayton Hodges, the second in the order, as he takes the 0-1 inside right in front of his face for ball number 1. Not a flinch there for Clayton Hodges, who might have the best slide on the team if I were to take a vote. We've seen a lot of games, a lot of baseball this year. Whenever he's still in a base, he's got a smooth slide into the plate as the 1-1 is going to be laced out, and it is fair right over the third base bag, and that's going to drive in not one, but two. Jordan Long comes across, so does Trey Rucker. It's a slide and double for Clayton Hodges. I was just talking about the slide. What do we get to see? That smooth slide in the second base for 2 RBIs. It's 5-1 here at Bob Wren Stadium.
Clayton Hodges comes up in a big spot once again for the Southern Ohio Copperheads, and seems like as he started to play more and more and more these last couple of weeks, specifically July, as a whole month, really, he's played a lot more. And my goodness, Sedric, he's been playing really well. He's on an absolute roll right now.
Absolutely. He's had a big hot streak where he is 9 out of his last 20 coming into this second game of the doubleheader with 7 RBIs. Now, if we add on today's total, he is 10 for 22 with 9 RBIs. So it looks like we'll see a pitching change here for the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers as the Copperheads are up 5-1. And we'll see who the new pitcher is up when we come back. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. So we're resuming here in the bottom of the 4th inning with the Copperheads up 5-1 over the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers. And looks like we have a new pitcher out there on the mound for the Ice Haulers.
Bobby Presbick comes in from Waldsworth, Ohio. Goes to San Diego Community College. 0-1 on the year, a 12.21 ERA. 14 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts, and 14 walks.
Well, he won't have an easy task coming out here against Kyle Ratliff, who already has a homer laced out to left field already this year, and he'll try to slug another one as we'll see the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and missed for a strike. So it's 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Copperheads with 1 runner on, and Clayton Hodges at second base, who drove in 2 runners, Trey Rucker and Jordan Long, with his last at-bat. As Copperheads have only 1 out in this inning. It was Sebastian Silva who almost homered to right field, but it fell just about 5 inches short. We'll see what Kyle Ratliff can do. Already 2 for 2, or 2 for 2 getting on base, 1 for 1 with a walk. Had that solo home run to get things started in the 1st inning, really setting the tone for how the Copperheads have played thus far. Kyle Ratliff, who has 34 RBIs, who just passed Austin Deering for the most RBIs, will take the 1-1 pitch outside for a ball. So the count is 2-1. So we see just a few trace clouds in the air, but other than that, not a cloud in the sky on a beautiful evening here at Bob Wren Stadium. Sure to be a starry one once we get down to it when the sun fully sets, as we'll see the 2-1 pitch to number 2, Kyle Ratliff. Presbick. It's going to be a pop fly going into center field, almost in no man's land. It drops for a base hit. And now Clayton Hodges advances to third. Ratliff picks up the single, and we'll see what he can do on the base pass. He's hit so many homers this year. It'll be nice to see what he could do out there on the base pass. Has quite a few stolen bases to his name, 12 of them to be exact.
Mason Adoni coming up here in another big spot for the Copperheads, being able to get another couple of runs here, at least scoring Clayton Hodges from third base is going to be huge in this situation. Have to try and add as many runs as you can. That way, if Colin Ryan not able to go far into this game, the bullpen will have some cushion to work with.
Presbick delivers a pitch right down home plate. Nadolny laces it out to center field. There's the tag. Hodges running with everything he got. He's coming across the plate for run number 6. It's a sac fly for Mason Nadolny. He picks up the RBI, and the Copperheads increase their lead to 5. As Tim, your point is 100% valid. The Copperheads need to keep pouring it on. They saw a 7-run lead go by the wayside yesterday, and they don't want a repeat of history here today.
7-run lead turned into 17 unanswered runs yesterday, Sedric, and it was a roller coaster of emotions. I still was trying to describe what happened in last night's game to a couple of different people today while I was at work, and I just couldn't come up with words to talk about yesterday's game. So at least today, a little bit more manageable, and at least I can explain how the Copperheads are getting this one done.
Exactly. I felt a mix of emotions as well. I mean, at least we had the food to look forward to there with the Licking County Settlers. They always have some of the best food in the GLSCL. Getting some nice mac and cheese, some pulled pork, sloppy joes every now and again. Definitely some good eating. But, yeah, it was just a mix of emotions in that game. But best thing about baseball, when there's so many games, you can just go back to the drawing board. You'll see a high pop up into foul territory in left field where the catch is going to be made by Michael Pollard. He does make the catch. That retires the side, but not before the Copperheads could not just add 1, not just add 2, but add 3 runs to their total. They're up 6-1 here at home and looking good going into the top of the 5th. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the fifth inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. Top of the fifth is presented to you by Jackie O's. As we jump right back into the action, see the first pitch to the bottom of the order, Montgomery, who on the day had a pop out to Mason Nadani in the infield for out number 3 of the bottom of the second. Makes that the top of the second as he'll take the 0-1. They're going to say, did he go? He did not, so the count is evened up. 1 ball, 1 strike as Mason Montgomery, Armsy, and Pollard are all due up this inning for the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers. We'll see a little play out to Maverick Stallings, who fumbles with the ball, not able to field it correctly, and that's an error for the Copperheads, their first one of the day. Mason Montgomery is on first.
One of the big things that has given the Copperheads the advantage in this game is that they haven't had any errors. And difference between yesterday's game where the Copperheads, I believe, had 4 or 5 errors, and then obviously the first game where the Copperheads had 3 errors. This one they're able to cleanly field a lot more ground balls and clean up a lot of those errors and stuff. Now only the first error of the game. Just hope that it doesn't come back to bite them.
It is, and the worst thing, it hurts the pitcher a lot as well, where you might already have 1 down in the inning. You might be mentally like, all right, 1 down, checked off in there, and he reaches base. So Mason Montgomery takes advantage. He's on first as we have the hot dog hitter up in Jacob Armsy, another one of those players from USC Upstate. He's batting .286 on the year and driven in 13 RBIs. With also a single homer, and he hits it down Broadway for a base hit and gets a collective groan from the crowd, as there will be no $1 hot dogs here at Bob Wren Stadium.
No dollar dogs tonight. Tough break for Copperheads fans. We'll see if they maybe double down on that. I know we've doubled down on Jackie O's beer batters before, but stay tuned on that one.
So Ice Haulers pick up their 5th hit of the day, as now they have 2 runners on with nobody out. Montgomery at second, Armsy at first, and that'll bring on Josh Cross, who's had a pair of hits so far today, a single to center field as well as a walk, I believe, actually in the 3rd inning. Got to be a little bit better about labeling here in my scorebook, as got a lot of things going on up here in the press box. We'll see the first pitch to Josh Cross, batting .291 on the year, and is a switch hitter, which makes him ever so dangerous. No matter if he's going against a righty or a lefty, he can be able to get an advantageous matchup in the box.
One of the most impressive things about baseball players is when they are switch hitters, and just know how hard it is to swing the bat one direction. Now imagine trying to flip it around and completely flip your stance 180 degrees and try and go the other way. It's really impressive when guys are able to do it at a high level.
As we saw him bat left in the last game, he was able to hit a home run that way. And now he's batting right against the left-handed pitcher, Colin Ryan. Actually, correction, batting right. So he's going to righty-on-righty matchup, interesting enough. See the 1-2 pitch. Going to be laced in between Jordan Long, and does get past him. Trey Rucker hustles to try to make the play, loses his hat. Looks like the runner's going home. There's the throw to home. Sebastian Silva's going to try to make the play. He drops the ball. That's a base, or that's a run for the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers. There was a lot of commotion on that play, and Silva almost was able to get the tag out at home, but was unable to grip the ball there. So it is 6-2 on quite an interesting play there, but it did result in 2 bases ultimately for Josh Cross.
Really good throw by Trey Rucker in, and a really good tag attempt, too, by Sebastian Silva. He was in the exact spot he needed to be to not only catch that ball, but then turn around and make the tag, and just unfortunately slipped out of his glove there to allow the run to come home.
So Armsy has advanced all the way to 3rd. Mason Montgomery came across the plate for the run for the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers, and now Pollard, after picking up the double, is now on second, as it looks like we'll have a little bit of a powwow at the mound. See what Coach TJ Lanning has to say. It may be the end of the day here for Colin Ryan, and if so, he's pitched a great game. It may just be a little bit of a check-in to see how he's doing and see if the arm's feeling okay and see how many more innings we can go. It's only a 7-inning affair, and we've seen multiple starting pitchers go the entire game. And Colin Ryan, he's had some experience with shortened games. had that Richmond Jazz game where the lights went out, and Ryan literally had a lights-out performance here at Bob Wren Stadium and picked up the win and pitched the full game, 6 innings against the Richmond Jazz. But while we're on the topic and while we have a little bit of a break, let's go check around the scores here in the GLSEL. As in the top of the 8th inning, the Lima Locos are up 15-5. They're all over the Richmond Jazz, as the Richmond Jazz will have a chance to go back to bat in the bottom of the 8th to try to put a comeback, but they're getting smoked right there by the Lima Locos, which is bad news for any Ice Haulers fans that are tuning into our broadcast. In the top of the 5th inning, we have a great game between the Cincinnati Steam and Xenia Scouts. Cincinnati Steam know they have to win all 3 of their last games, and the Cincinnati Steam are tied with the Xenia Scouts 7-7 out at Grady's Field. The Michigan Monarchs have renewed their rivalry with the Grand Lake Mariners as the Mariners switched over from the North to the South Division. Mariners trail 1-3 in the top of the 7th. In the bottom of the 6th inning, you got the Royal Oak Leprechauns up 5-2 over the Clippers. And, of course, in our game, the Copperheads are up 6-2 over the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers here in the top of the 5th inning.
Looks like Colin Ryan will stay in the game, at least for the moment. See some activity down there in the Cheads bullpen. A couple of guys. Haven't seen Josh Robinson in a couple of days. Likely see him. Probably saving Sam Maudsley, I would assume, for the game tomorrow or Sunday, as a lot of the, we talked about before, but a lot of the guys for the Copperheads have started to leave town just because of other commitments or what have you for the summer. Obviously enjoyed their time here. A lot of the guys talked to us, before they leave or on their last couple of days, and just talked about how much fun they had down here in Athens this summer. Really great environment for these players coming in. Obviously, they get to live together in the team house, and obviously the entertainment factor here at Bob Wren is unmatched across the league.
So the count is 1-1. The Copperheads up 6-2, as we'll see a hit out there from Josh Cross, who's able to get it down in the infield for a base hit, as both runners will score, as that's Armsy and Pollard coming across, and that's a big play for the Ice Haulers. This score is now 6-4. After it looks like there'll be a little bit of a timeout there, as they'll go and get all the batting equipment there. And that's a big play for the Ice Haulers, who just worked their way back into this game just like that.
Yeah, this game is back within reach for the Ice Haulers, and Chase Harris is coming up to Chase Harris is coming out to the mound now to talk to Colin Ryan, and it appears that is the end of his day. Looks like Josh Robinson coming in relief to finish this one out.
So when we come back here in the top of the 5th inning, the Southern Ohio Copperheads will have a pitching change, and they'll try to maintain their lead 6-4 over the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers. Colin Ryan, with 6 strikeouts, had himself a solid day and a solid start, putting himself in line to potentially pick up the win if the Copperheads can stave off the Ice Haulers. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. So we're resuming play here in the top of the 5th inning as we have a new pitcher in Josh Robinson from Midway University, and he'll deliver his first pitch to the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers. Reinhardt does not swing, but it does go over the plate for a strike. So good start for Josh Robinson, who has 9 strikeouts on the year. Has an ERA of 9.6, and his last game was one of his best against the Licking County Settlers, and Copperheads' only win against the Settlers this season. He was able to close out the game, pitching 1 1/3 innings, allowed no runs, 2 hits, and 2 strikeouts. Was ever so clutch in that performance.
When you think about memorable pitching performances this year, obviously one that comes back to mind was Josh Robinson when he came in relief. In that first game when we traveled up to Xenia, had a lot of his hometown crowd there, a good handful, probably 10 or 15 people at that game, all there cheering him on, supporting him. And it was such a hot day, not a lot of Xenia fans came out, so I think we said it 3 or 4 times in the broadcast. It really felt like a home game for the Copperheads every time Josh would get up there to pitch. You'd hear the crowd, or his crowd, getting into it, and really fun environment, and I know that meant a lot to him to have a lot of his friends and family out there.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It almost all came full circle, given that the Copperheads actually had one official home game end at Grady's Field in Xenia, the rain delay that we referred to earlier, as the Copperheads end up getting their home game back here against the Ice Haulers. As we'll see the 3-1 pitch to Jace Reinhardt, who's ahead in the count. Swings at that one and fouls it backwards for a strike. So the count is 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, 1 runner on in a 6-4 game. Copperheads led by as many as 5. And now they've yielded 3 more runs to draw closer, as we got a ball game on our hands here at Bob Wren Stadium on a muggy, muggy summer night. When you think of July, you think of the heat. As we'll see the 3-2, can Robinson bring the heat? No, the heat's going to go right out to Jordan Long, who ends up having some struggles trying to field that one. That's another error for the Copperheads, one that they could not have, as nobody's out, and there's runners on the corners. Cross on third, Reinhardt on first for the big-time home run duo of the Ice Haulers.
Big time moment coming up now for the Copperheads and Josh Robinson. Going to have to get a couple of outs quickly here. Now no outs. The sacrifice fly to score the runner on third is well within reach.
So multiple errors in this inning prevent 2 potential outs from already being on the board, as the infield has to be able to back up the pitchers as well and make things a little easier. As we'll see the first pitch outside to Nathan Archer from Granger, Ohio. Kind of sounded similar to my last name of Granger. He went 1 for 3 with 3 runs against the Settlers in his last game yesterday. Or I guess now with the doubleheader, kind of trips up the stats a little bit. So now 2 games ago, as the 1-0 won't be thrown. It'll be a pickoff attempt instead. That is not in time, as Archer has reached on an error, which was error number 1 of the day. As when we look at the scoreboard right now, the thing that really stands out, Copperheads 3 errors, Ice Haulers with none. As if Copperheads could have kept it clean, it would be a probably different ball game, maybe a 6-3, 6-2 ball game instead. But you can't look back at the past. You just got to continue playing in the future, and there's still plenty of game left, and you're still ahead. So can the Copperheads keep that mental strength despite having a few mental lapses? We'll see, as we'll see the 1-1 pitch on its way to Archer, who swings at it, and it goes out just in time. It would have been a fair ball that would have scored potentially multiple runners. Could have been a standing or sliding triple. Unfortunately, it did just go foul. But Josh Robinson will take a breath. It's now a 1-2 count. Chance to pick up strikeout number 1 on the day. 7 strikeouts total, potentially, if he can figure this out and make the last pitch out to Nathan Archer out of BGSU. Two runners on, the 1-2, swung on and missed for strike number 3. Big out number 1. And they're going to need 2 more of those, as there's the tying runner on first base right now, and potentially the leading run coming up to the box, as Horvath, who has a strikeout swinging and a flyout, will try to get hit number 1 on his day.
Horvath, another one of those big-time power guys at the top of this Ice Haulers lineup, or the middle, rather, of this Ice Haulers lineup.
See a pickoff attempt there, and it does go past first base, and that's a mistake you cannot have, as it looks like they're rounding bases even more. We already saw a cross score. Reinhardt makes his way all the way to third, and on a routine pickoff attempt, that's a huge mistake. It is 6-5 as the Copperheads errors are really starting to pile up. That's a trio of them just in this inning alone.
Tough break for the Copperheads, just when Robinson tried to fire that over a little bit too quickly. And now, Cedric, we talked about my announcer's jinx. Now, just as I was talking about no errors or limiting the errors, now 4. Back to what was happening in that first game.
Now to bounce back there, Josh Robinson does deliver a strike to Horvath, as this game is 6-5 here at Bob Wren Stadium. It was 6-1 at one point, but the Ice Haulers don't have any quit in their system as they're fighting for a playoff spot, and the 0-1 is going to be fouled out backwards. So the count is 0 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 runner on third base in Reinhardt. Cross just came across because of an error. It's a perfect name for baseball when it comes to calls with Cross, whether he crosses it over the infield to first base or whether he crosses the plate, crosses the bag. It just works out. As we see the 0-2 swung on and missed for strike number 3. Make it 2 strikeouts for Josh Robinson, and he'll try to stave off the Ice Haulers and try to maintain this lead. Copperheads only up by 1, but can give the batting another chance to extend the lead back up, as this game has reminded me a lot of the Settlers game last Saturday, where saw the Copperheads jump out to a pretty big lead. It was 6-1 in that game, if I recall correctly, and then Settlers made the Copperheads sweat as it was a 6-5 game, and then the Copperheads were able to stave them off thanks to Josh Robinson, Sam Maudsley, as well as some good heroics by the whole lineup of the Copperheads. It seems like it's not always just one name. Of course, you got Kyle Ratliff headlining, but you have a lot of other batters that are also contributing some great stuff for the Copperheads. Clayton Hodges coming on recently. Trey Rucker, of course, can't be understated. Even Jordan Long today has 2 runs for the Copperheads, and see the 1-0 skip across the grass.
Sebastian Silva as well had having a really good game today. Double, and
count is evened up as Horvath of the 1-1. And it misses, so the count is 2-1. So actually, correction, that's Eli Snyder who is up. As we had back-to-back strikeouts. Archer went down on strikes. Horvath went down on strikes. There's no RBIs on that last run. Kind of threw me off there as the 2-1 pitch will be on its way to Snyder, and he fouls it off backwards. So the count is evened up. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here at Bob Wren Stadium as the lights are bright, the sun is down. And when it matters most, can the Copperheads keep their lead and try to get win number 15 on the season? The goal, obviously, is to get to 17 if they can, as we'll see a pop bloop out to Mason Nadani. Fields it on one hop, delivers it with some velocity out to his teammate Mitch Class for out number 3. So the Copperheads, they yield 4, but they don't yield the lead going into the bottom of the 5th inning. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. The bottom of the 5th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. Bottom of the 5th is presented to you by Steak and Shake. So Tim went and took a little exit there as we'll transition this back onto the field for the start here as the Copperheads due up in this inning. It will be Maverick Stallings Mitch Class and Jordan Long, the 6, 7, 8 batters in the lineup, as the Copperheads are now working with only a 1-run lead. They've had a 1-run lead at one point in this game. Back in the first inning, they were up 1-0 going into that one. They were also up 2-1 at the end of the second inning. And they'll now work against Presbeck, who's come in relief of Orlando Lloyd, who pitched 3 1/3. Now we're seeing the first full inning come around here for Presbeck. And we're going to see Maverick Stallings lead it off here at Bob Rinn Stadium. Copperheads up 6-5 with 8 hits. The biggest difference, though, has been the 4 errors. We've seen some mistakes across the board, but your mistakes don't define you. And we're hoping the Copperheads can come through here and get a win at home. They lost the first game of the doubleheader 6-1. They've already had 6 times as many runs in this game alone. They're going to try to make it 5 out of their last 6 games with 10 runs or more, as Stallings takes the first pitch for a strike. And now we'll see the second pitch to Stallings. Fouled backwards for strike number 2. So Maverick Stallings on his day has picked up a single where he scored a Kyle Rowliff on an RBI to left field, and then also had a fly out deep to right field as well for his day. The 0-2 is outside, so good discipline from Stallings not to swing at that, so the count is 1-2. This Maverick Stallings is from St. John's River State College. He's one of those players that came all the way up north from Florida. Feels like a day in Florida right now, as it's nice and sweaty up there in the booth, as there'll be a high pop fly going up into the beautiful sky, and it will fall down for an out as Archer moves good bit from his center field position all the way out into left center field, or actually make that right center field to make the out.
For the Copperheads, number 30, Mitch Class.
So here comes Mitch Class, who's batting 158 on the year and was able to retire the side alongside his teammate Mason Nadani. As him and Mason Nadani and Mitch Class, we've referred to them as the Minnesota boys all throughout the year. Also, give a shout out to Matt Friesen, who's also from Minnesota. But Mitch Class and Mason Nadani have been teammates ever since high school, and now are teammates not only on the Copperheads but also at Concordia University, as the 0-1 is backwards for a strike. So it's 0-2 to Mitch Class. We'll update the scoreboard here. It's first time getting to cover this, which is quite cool, being able to work with the scoreboard system. This count is 1-2 with 1 down in the inning. And now we'll see a ball that's placed into right field. It gets past the second baseman, Montgomery, and out into the outfield. That's a single for Mitch Class. 1 runner on now for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. So Jordan Long, who has a pair of runs on the day as well as a pair of walks, will work with 1 runner on, 1 down in the inning. And Presbeck will step on the mound. The lefty delivers his pitch, and it looks like it bounces off the catcher. Mitch Class will take advantage, and he'll take his base off of the mistake. So Mitch Class is on second. Jordan Long took ball number 1. It's 1-0, as Jordan Long has not seen a single strike today, as he had a pair of 4-pitch walks, one by Lloyd and the other by Presbeck. Copperheads trying to get up in this series, as the series is tied 1-1 for the full season series against the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers. The only opponent of the Copperheads from the North Division, as the 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed for a strike. So first strike that Jordan Long sees today. So the count is evened up, 1 ball, 1 strike, and a runner on second. The 1-1 is outside and hitting the edge of the zone for a strike, apparently, as you'll see a lot of groans there from the crowd. They're not going to like that one. So now it's a unfavorable count, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Jordan Long will try to stave off Presbeck, who will try anything he can to strike out Jordan Long. As Presbeck sets, delivers the 1-2 pitch over the plate. They got him looking for strike number 3. So Jordan Long goes down on strikes. That's the first strikeout of the day for Perez Beck, and that'll bring on the bottom of the order, Sebastian Silva.
Now batting for the Copperheads, number 29, Sebastian Silva.
So Sebastian Silva is now up for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. Last time he was up, he flied out to right field on a ball that was almost a homer, but is seeing the ball very well as he has a double to his name earlier today, and he almost had an RBI if it wasn't for the turf monster, as he'll swing and miss there for strike number 1. As Mitch Class is on second base right now after reaching on a pass ball, or wild pitch, we'll call it, as that's one of those mini baseball terms that is a judgment call, whether it's on the catcher or on the pitcher, as we'll see the 0-1 outside for a ball. So the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. And it looks like Perez Beck will take a chance to tie his shoe real quick, and Copperhead's hoping he'll have some issues with his pitches. That will be your pun for the day. There's a couple of ice puns as well, which when I saw the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers on the schedule, that made me smile, seeing that there would be many opportunities to break the ice or just come up with all types of ice jokes, as we'll see the 1-1 pitch coming. Mitch Class get a nice leadoff at second. Perez Beck delivers. It's popped up high in the foul territory for strike number 2. So with 2 down in the inning, 1 runner on, Copperheads up 6-5, and are going to try to extend their lead as the Ice Haulers have been sliding their way back into this game. Copperheads down to their final strike as Silva swings and misses there. That's strikeout number 3 and the second one of the inning to retire the side. So the Copperheads aren't able to get much going there in the bottom of the 5th, and in the top of the 6th, the Copperheads will have to stave off the Ice Haulers, who are trying to make a furious comeback here on the road. Listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. The top of the 6th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. Top of the 6th is presented to you by OUCU Financial, where you belong. as Tim Hanna prepares for his run from third base to home plate. We'll take you guys back to the field as the Copperheads are up 6-5, and they'll look to stave off the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers. That'll be Brady Renfro, Mason Montgomery, and Jacob Armsey, who are all due up this inning, the 8, 9, and 1 in the batting order, as Renfro has a RBI single and a strikeout to his name. Bear with me on the scoreboard as we're trying to work and do a lot of things at once, keep score, keep track of who's at bat, as well as doing the scoreboard all at once. So we're doing a little bit of everything here at home as it is the 6th inning. Figure out how to get that number back up there in a second, but the first pitch was thrown in for a ball. And now it's going to be chopped right over to Maverick Stallings, who fields it on the ground, delivers it with some velocity out there to Mitch Class for out number 1. So 1 runner up, 1 runner down here at home, and Montgomery will now take the field.
Fans get loud.
And it's time for the beer batter.
Number 11, Mason Montgomery.
So up here at Bob Bryn Stadium, whenever the beer batter is up, you know everybody gets cheering, as we have a pretty decent crowd here at Bob Bryn Stadium as we're nearing the end of the year. Well, 1 down in the inning, Josh Robinson will try to pick up the biggest strikeout of the day against Mason Montgomery, who pops it high up in the center field. Clayton Hodges tracks it, moves a couple steps up, makes the catch. And that's 2 runners up, 2 runners down on just 3 pitches. But no strikeout means no beer for the crowd here.
So we're doing another beer batter.
Or rain check there. It looks like they're going to do another beer batter since he swung at the first pitch. And that'll be bring up Jacob Armsey. Jacob Armsey, the leadoff batter, has a strikeout, a ground out, and a single to his name on the day. First pitch. It's going to be inside here in the top of the 6th inning for a strike. So with 2 outs, we've seen a couple of strikes. So the 0-1 skips across the ground for ball number 1. So it's 1-1 here at home. As the Copperheads are up 6-5. They were up 6-1 at one point, and then a 4-run rally in the top of the 5th allowed the Ice Haulers to work their way back into the game. Josh Robinson will try to do anything he can to keep the Ice Haulers at bay, as Jordan Long fields that one on the ground ball, delivers it out to Mitch Class, and that retires the side. So Copperheads are able to force out the Ice Haulers 1, 2, 3. And going into the bottom of the 6th, the Copperheads will try to give themselves a little bit more wiggle room. So Copperheads up 6-5. You listen to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube.
Special treat.
the bottom of the sixth inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the sixth was presented to you by the Eclipse Company Store. As in this inning, the Copperheads will lead off with the top of the order. It'll be Trey Rucker, Clayton Hodges, and Kyle Ratliff, the 1, 2, 3 batters in the lineup, trying to give a Copperheads an increased lead here at home, as we saw an excellent mascot dash. One of them may be a familiar face, as Tim Hanna went out there potentially in one of the mascot suits, whether he was the Orange Crush, the Kona Iceman, Rufus the Bobcat, Homer, the mascot of the Copperheads. The world may never know, as we see a big swing and miss there. The count is 1-1 to Trey Rucker. The 1-1 misses that time, so the count is 2-1. Copperheads looking for win number 15 on the season. They are sitting at last place in the standings, but are looking to try to work their way back up to at least 6th place. They're behind the Mariners, who are 16-20. Richmond Jazz are 17-19. Scouts 18-18. Steam 18-17. Joes 21-16. And the Settlers are at the top at 21-16. But the Joes have made the playoffs already, as they are clinched. And when Trey Rucker thought that was going to be a walk, as it did look like it missed inside, but the umpire says otherwise. It'll be a full count coming up. So here it comes. It's the payoff pitch, as the Copperheads are going to look to try to give themselves some more breathing room against the Ice Haulers, as Perez Beck delivers a pitch. It's a high pop fly going into foul territory. Someone's taking home a souvenir as it bounces off and into the arms of an outstretched fan, as he's able to get himself a nice souvenir for home. Gets a high five from one of the mascots, as we'll see Tim Hanna get some high fives there from his mascot area. Looks like some kids want some pictures with him after that wonderful mascot dash, where I think we saw some people playing dirty, a couple tackles there, as the 3-2 payoff pitch is going to be chopped right over to Montgomery at second base. Fields it on a hop, delivers it out, and it is in time to Snyder for out number 1. So it is the bottom of the 6th inning, as we're having issues with the changing of the numbers on the inning, but I'll let you guys know manually. That's the bottom of the 6th inning, and we also have the slides that we had before that to kind of show you guys what inning it is. Copperheads up 6-5, and they'll look to keep that lead, as this game has been quite close, at least these last couple of innings. It started off with the Copperheads trying to extend their lead and leg it out a little bit, as we'll see a swing and miss there from Clayton Hodges. And now this game is back to being close, as Clayton Hodges has a run on the day, and he was able to get a double, driving in 2 RBIs to continue his hot streak, as the 0-1 is missed for strike number 2. So it's quick 0-2 to number 11, Clayton Hodges, who just had his first home run of the season in the last game. And he's getting a bit of a chant. You hear Hodges, Hodges from the crowd. We'll see if he can step up in this moment, as the ball skips across the turf for ball number 1. As I'm sure the coaches and the players all appreciate it being a lot cooler now that the sun has dipped. As it was very hot on the field for this doubleheader, as the 1-2 is going to be hit right out to the shortstop, Armsy, who fields it, delivers it out, and was the first baseman on the bag? It seems like he was. So Snyder is able to get a good stretch to finish out the out. So that's 2 down in the inning. Copperheads have had a couple of people in a row get retired at this point, as that makes now 4 straight batters retired by Perez Beck, who's came in very well for his Ice Hauler squad, trying to give his team a shot to win. That'll bring on Kyle Ratliff. And Kyle Ratliff here in the bottom of the 6th inning has had a great day. A home run, a walk, and a single for Ratliff. First pitch is popped out backwards. So the count is 0-1. Kyle Ratliff, your home run leader, now going after that all-time home run leader for a single season in the GLSCL. As you see the 0-1 pitch swung on and missed there. So he got underneath that pitch, and the count is 0-2 with 2 outs. Nobody on for the Copperheads. Up 5-6, or up 6-5 rather, against the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers, who will play the Copperheads tomorrow, as the Copperheads and Ice Haulers will battle on Saturday at 7:05, as we'll see a swing and miss there to retire the side. So the Copperheads not able to put anything up. And if they can close out the Ice Haulers and not allow a single run, they'll go home winners in this doubleheader. Copperheads up 6-5 going to the top of the 7th. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the 7th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium with the Copperheads up 6-5. Top of the 7th is presented to you by Larry's Doghouse. It's time to pump it up here at Bob Wren Stadium as the Copperheads are 3 outs away from closing out the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers. But it won't be an easy task as the Ice Haulers are going to look to try to make a comeback here in this inning. They put up 4 runs in that top of the 5th inning to make the Copperheads sweat a little bit. We'll see if the Copperheads can stave them off here at home as due up in this inning as it looks like we have joined Tim Hanna. He is back. Welcome back, Tim. How was your time down there in the mascot dash? I couldn't tell which mascot you were down there.
I ran as Orange Crush down there, so actually had the nice form tackle to stop Homer from getting the win.
Of course. There you go. Being able to show off the skills, maybe some football skills to go along with the baseball that is going on.
Yeah, I just told Charlie that that's a Nick Saban approved form tackle. You got to wrap up from the base, get nice and low, and drive the hips. Drive in the hips. Well, the Coppers are going to prevent any driving of runs right now from Michael Pollard, who is up and now down 0-2 to number 32, Josh Robinson, trying to close out the Ice Haulers. Coppers are up 6-5 and looking to keep it that way as they need 3 more outs to get out of this one unscathed, as we'll see the 0-2. Over the plate, that's strike number 3. He got Pollard looking, and that's 1 down in the inning. Copperheads just need 2 more outs to close it out. Josh Robinson came in this game, started off a little shaky, and then has now really settled himself back into this one. 2 1/3, hasn't given up a run yet, hasn't had a walk, 3 strikeouts, make that 4 strikeouts now with that one against Pollard.
So now up For the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers, it is Josh Cross, the switch hitter. He can be dangerous, as we'll see the first pitch outside for a ball. We've seen Josh Robinson come in and be a closer. That's been his new sort of role as a relief pitcher, as we've seen him do it against the Settlers. Can he do it here against the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers and prevent them from being over 500? With nobody on, one out, the 1-0 pitch is dealt, and it misses the plate outside just barely for a ball. So the count is 2-0. We see a lot of groans from this crowd that's out here getting into it, as we always seem to do at Bob Wren Stadium. We have the best fans in the land, no doubt about it, here in the GLSEL, as we'll see the 2-0 pitch on its way, and it's outside for a ball. So the count is 3-0 for Josh Cross, which, given how dangerous he is, giving him something across the plate might be a mistake.
Just a testament to the fans in Southeast Ohio. They always talk about how Ohio University has some of the best fans in the MAC. The Copperheads with some of the best fans in the GLSCL too.
So it's a 4-pitch walk that sends Cross to first base. And now Jace Reinhardt, who has 6 home runs on the season, he's a very dangerous bat, will be coming up next, as he'll have 1 runner on. The tying run is on first. Potentially the leading run is up here to bat. Can Josh Robinson close it out? It's a big question, but when looking back through this game, of course, Skylar always comes up to talk to us about who the MVP should probably be. Is we'll find out. There's still plenty of baseball left to play, but when looking through a lot of totals, Jordan Long has 2 runs, Ratliff with 2 runs, and whenever you have one of the best players in the GLSCL, it's kind of like whenever LeBron James was one of the best players in the NBA. He could have been player of the week pretty much every week of the NBA season, and still is one of the best players in the league, but there's also a lot of competition up there for best. See Hodges as well, 2 RBIs and 1 for 3, and Trey Rucker has a pair of hits as well as a key RBI, which right now is the difference in this game, in a 1-run game. We'll see the first pitch to Jace Reinhardt, the deal, and it's inside right in front of the bat of Reinhardt. He takes it for a ball. This is a 7-inning affair, so if the Copperheads don't yield 1, they will be getting out of here with the W, as the 1-0 is going to be laced out into left field and does go over the head of Maverick Stallings, down for a base hit. That puts 2 runners on, and Cross and Reinhardt.
Nathan Archer coming out to, oh, and we've got a streaker.
Oh my gosh, you don't see that every day. As it looks like we're going to have to get some sort of security, as he's going to make it all the way down to the bullpen. Bam Thomas looked like he was going to run towards him a little bit, but he's going to make it all the way down. He's making it towards the dugout. He's back towards the wall, jumps the fence, and oh, that's the type of joy you can get at the old ball game.
Not sure how that happened, but probably going to get an email about this one tonight, Sedric.
I guarantee it. Well, sometimes you just got to go with it. C'est la vie. Maybe it's a good omen for the Copperheads. We'll see. With 2 runners on, 1 out. A streaker comes by as the Ice Haulers try to maintain their win streak here on the road against the Southern Ohio Copperheads, wearing their all-white home uniforms against the grays of the Ice Haulers. We'll see a chopper over there from Nathan Archer that goes foul for strike number 1.
No fans are allowed on the field during the baseball game. Now batting for the Ice Haulers, number 8, Nathan Archer.
So Nathan Archer dealing with an 0-1 count after fouling off the first pitch. And we'll see the 0-1 with 2 runners on in the top of the 7th inning. Copperheads up 6-5. If they keep their lead, they will win this game, as we see the 0-1 fouled backwards for strike number 2. So a chance for Robinson to be able to pick up a big strikeout. He had a very solid top of the 6th inning, where he did very well and had to come in and come through in the clutch for the Copperheads. He did very well, forcing them out 1, 2, 3. With 2 runners on, he'll try to stave them as we chop the base go out. We're only having a few games left, and 1 more home game, and only 1 more game with these fans, which obviously every single game it always seems like there's something new, whether it's a specific word or specific phrase that's chirped at the opposing team, or guess a streaker as well. I mean, you'll see a little bit of everything as we see the 0-2 High pop fly going backwards and foul. So 4 pitches. Count is 0-2 with 2 runners on. Reinhardt at first, Cross at second. Copperheads up by 1. If they yield 1 run here, could see extra innings or a potential walk-off opportunity in the bottom of the 7th. The Ice Haulers take the lead. That'll put the pressure on the Copperheads. Josh Robinson sets on the mound. The 0-2 fouled off. As like to mention, the Copperheads, they could get a double play and potentially finish off the game as well. That's a scenario that could happen. Take some solid infielding. We'll see if they can do it or shut down the door. Or can Josh Robinson do it right here from the mound and pick up strike number 3? We'll see. As Nathan Archer, who's done a good job staying alive, swings at the 0-2 and fouls it off again as the drama continues to build with this at-bat. Also saw, Tim, you ended up getting a picture with a fan out there as well.
Did, yeah. One of the fans approached the Orange Crush and said, you know, they get a picture with everyone at every game they come with the Orange Crush every time they come to a game. So, of course, you had to do it. Love all the young fans that come out to the game. And
clutch catch from Silva, though, getting up there to prevent that from being a wild pitch. The count is 1-2 to Archer as Robinson deals, swings and misses for strike number 3. Copperheads only need to pick up 1 more out, and they'll go home with a victory. It'll be easier said than done, though, as they're going to have to deal with Andrew Horvath. And Horvath on the day has gone down 3 times, 2 strikeouts and a flyout. He's looking for hit number 1. As the drama is on, the pressure is up. Here at Bob Wren Stadium, can Josh Robinson close out the game? He'll take a breath. And with 2 runners on, he'll deal the first pitch. Horvath drives a deep ball out in the left field. It's going back towards the wall, and it is gone! A clutch home run by the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers as Horvath absolutely drills a 3-run homer. It's an 8-6 game as the Ice Haulers show ice in their veins on that home run.
The dagger in the side of the Southern Ohio Copperheads. They will have the bottom of the 9th inning to come in and try and get 2 of those runs back. 3 would win them the game to this point, but just an absolute dagger into the side for the Southern Ohio Copperheads.
So all the Lima Loco fans who are watching this game at home, hoping that the Copperheads could pull off this upset. That is a big deal there. That's a play very similar. Oh, as the bat goes flying, and that bat is out of here. And this is not the first time we've seen the Sandusky Ice Haulers lose a bat. They did so at home, as seems like they have a lot of power, and sometimes they have so much juice they just lose the bat.
Luckily, that didn't hit any fans. Could have been a dangerous situation. But
so
everybody's okay. Bat being returned now.
So what's kind of crazy is in the last game that the Settlers played, they ended up having a grand slam from Mason Montgomery, which gave them permanent separation in that game against the Licking County Settlers that they won 6-1 back on the 20th. And now what do we see? We see Horvath get his 2nd home run of the year. The guy from the University of Akron stings it on a max opponent's field, and it was a bomb out to left field. Bam Thomas knew it when he was trying to go back to see if he could track that ball. It went over the net. As, again, the league leading team in home runs. They have 27 on the season now, nearing that 30 mark as the count is 0-2 to Snyder. The 0-2 pitch over the plate. He's got him looking for strike number 3, but the Copperheads do yield the lead. And Copperheads will have a chance to bat here in the bottom of the 7th. They need 2 to tie it and send it to extras, and 3 to win it. Can the Copperheads get yet again another walk-off? We'll find out in the bottom of the 7th. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the 7th inning here at Bob Wren Stadium. The bottom of the 7th is presented to you by Ohio Health. Copperheads, they yielded a 7-run lead yesterday. They're not trying to yield a 5-run lead today, but their backs are against the wall as it'll be Mason Nadolny, Bam Thomas, and Maverick Stallings. Kyle Ratliff did just bat to close out the bottom of the 6th inning. So it'll be tough for the Copperheads. It'll have to be the bottom of the lineup to get it done for the Copperheads, but anything is possible. It's only a 2-run deficit as Perezbeck tries to pick up the win for his team. His first 2 pitches were a strike and a ball, respectively, as Mason Nadolny will hear the chants from the crowd, "Let's go, Mason." And Mason Nadolny will try to come through as the 1-1 pitch is outside for ball number 2. Good eye from Nadolny, who has a single and a sac fly RBI on the day. Tim, that was just an absolute shocker, that home run, as it was just absolutely drilled to left field. We haven't seen something like that since Kyle Ratliff, almost the same area that Ratliff goes to with his left field bombs.
Really a tough break for the Copperheads, who played really well in this game despite having those 4 errors. And now you have to wonder how many of those errors come back to haunt the Copperheads.
2-2 is outside. Now the count is full for Mason Nadolny. And whenever you're trying to form a comeback and form a rally late in the game, it is key to get your first runner on. Can Nadolny do it? The 3-2. It's going to be a drive into right center field. Will it go down? It is. It goes down for a base hit. Mason Nadolny pushing his luck, going to second base, and it's a standing double for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. A much-needed one if they're going to want to finish off this comeback. They're down by 2, and we potentially have the tying run in the batter's box with Ashton Bam Thomas.
Good start on the inning for Mason Nadolny, a guy that has one of the higher on-base or higher batting averages on the team, been battling with Kyle Ratliff all year on that. Now comes up in the biggest spot in this game, gets on with a stand-up double already in scoring position, and will open the door up for Bam Thomas.
So Copperheads already with a good start when they're trying to
we'll have
rally.
a pinch hitter.
Sure does. Looks like we'll have a pinch hitting situation. Looks like Ian Crump will come into the game for Bam Thomas. So Ian Crump will be out there at left field as they have his intro music coming back on. Ian Crump has had his best streak of the year as of lately. And he had a perfect game where he went 2 for 2 with 3 walks against the Ice Haulers back in that game in Sandusky Bay overlooking Cedar Point. Count is now 1-0 to the new guy, Ian Crump, jumping into the lineup.
Crump played pretty decent in the first game of the day.
So Ian Crump will take the 1-0 inside for ball number 2. We have 2 runners on. Mason Nadolny is our 1 runner on, rather. Mason Nadolny at second with nobody gone in the inning. See the 2-0 pitch. Bobby Perezbeck still on the mound here for the Ice Haulers, trying to seal his victory, and there's a swing and miss for strike number 1. It was a good start as Mason Nadolny drilled a ball out into right field. Did carry pretty far, and it was a good spot right in between center field with Archer and right field with Horvath. The 2-1. Ian Crump swings and misses there for strike number 2. So now the count is evened up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Perezbeck working the 2-0 into a 2-2 as everybody's sitting at the edge of their seats here in Bob Wren Stadium, hoping the Copperheads can make a comeback. They gave up a 7-run deficit yesterday, 5-run deficit right now today. But the Copperheads do have a shot at redemption. They still have time left in this game and 3 outs to give, as now we'll see a payoff pitch incoming. Payoff pitches on its way to Ian Crump with 1 runner on in Nadolny at second. Payoff pitch. It is inside for a ball. That's a walk as Ian Crump is able to find base. That's 2 runners on. The tying run is on the base pass. So that'll bring on Maverick Stallings. Stallings is on a bit of a hot streak himself coming into today. 5 for 13 at the plate, as it looks like the head coach of the Ice Haulers, Coach Jared Hagan, will have a little bit of a conversation. It may be the end of the day for Bobby Perezbeck, or it may just be they remember Maverick Stallings and what he did to the Ice Haulers the last time and want to give a warning. But game summary, Copperheads were up 6-1 at one point in this game as they were able to get off to a very hot start with Kyle Ratliff hitting a home run. We also saw Jordan Long come off of an RBI from Trey Rucker to make it a 2-1 game, and then Kyle Ratliff scoring again, this time off of an RBI from Maverick Stallings to make it a 3-1 game. Then we saw the Copperheads increase it to 6 as Trey Rucker, Clayton Hodges, and Jordan Long all scored in the bottom of the 4th inning, and it looked like the Copperheads would cruise. But then the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers, knowing that their backs were against the wall in this playoff race, knew they had to make a comeback if they want to stay in it and compete with the Lima Locos and Jetbox for that last spot. And they delivered with Horvath, a 3-run homer when the game was 6-5. And that's how we're at the score we're at right now, 8-6, as Maverick Stallings takes the first pitch from Perez back and fouls it high up into the air, back into the crowd. And a fan will take home a souvenir thanks to Goldsberry Wealth Strategies, our sponsor that allows all of the foul balls that go into the stadium are allowed to be kept, which is a rule that not a lot of other ballparks have. So it is definitely a pleasure and an honor. Sandusky Bay is one of the ballparks where you can keep a baseball, as there's so many fields, so many baseballs in that complex, as the 0-1 is outside. So it's 1-1 to Maverick Stallings. Showed he has the power to hit it out of the park. Did it once. If he does it twice, it'll be game over here at Bob Wren Stadium, as the 1-1 is up high for ball number 2. It's 2-1 to number 25, Maverick Stallings, who has a fly out to right field, a single, and a fly out to left field. 1 for 3 on the day for Maverick. The 2-1 to Stallings over the plate for a strike. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, 2 runners on. Nadani at second and Crump at first. Crump walked. Mason Nadani doubled to right center field. The 2-2 is up high. No swing there. Good discipline from Stallings. And now it'll be another payoff pitch coming up. Copperheads won the first payoff pitch. Can they win the second one? Actually, make that the third payoff pitch incoming. We saw one with Nadoni as well. So Copperheads 2 for 2, trying to go 3 for 3 against payoff pitches, and they are going 2 for 3 as they swing and miss at that one. Stallings goes down on strikes. Bobby Perezbeck picks up his first out. Only 2 more outs left for the Copperheads, but the tying run is on the base pass. Copperheads can't afford to leave anybody on. And that'll bring on Mitch Class at Concordia University. Will try to score his teammate from Concordia and Mason Nadani.
Mitch Class come up big in situations like this before. You remember back to the July 4th game. Mason Nadani with the game-winning RBI in that one.
Yeah, Mitch Class really came through as he hit it right down the gully, right between shortstop and the second baseman, and they tried to outstretch their arms to make that play, and they weren't able to as Clayton Hodges came across the plate. It's one of the biggest moments of the season, as we talked about earlier, as we'll see the 0-1 to Mitch Class is up high on the breaking ball that did not break down, and the count is 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 2 runners on. Copperheads down by 2. As Copperheads have out-hit the Ice Haulers 10-9. Here in the 7th inning, and this is one of those games where you wish you may have had some more time to potentially come back, as the pressure is on here in the bottom of the 7th. This was a 9-inning affair, maybe some more time for the Copperheads to stage a bit of a comeback. With the count is 2-1 now to Mitch Class, Concordia University St. Paul. Broke out of a 4-game slump in the last game with a hit. And now the count is evened up. 2 balls, 2 strikes after the foul ball back towards the river. Got all types of water theming. Ice Haulers, Sandusky Bay, and the Hocken River right behind us. The 2-2. It's going to be hit right out into left field. It's down for a base hit. And Mason Nadani's getting the sign. He's running home, and he is safe. Mitch Class scores his teammate, Mason Nadani. It's 8-7 with 2 runners on. Mitch Class coming up clutch. Once again, the Minnesota boys getting it done against a team that's themed to the cold.
Big hit by Mason Nadani, or by Mitch Class, rather. As I said before, he came up big in a situation like this, and Mitch, a really patient hitter, a really mature hitter in the box, knows what pitches he likes to swing at, knows which pitches he likes to kind of lay off of. You saw him work that count up a little bit higher, and then obviously jumped on the pitch that he liked, put it right in the gap.
Copperhead still alive as Jordan Long comes to the plate. He has 2 runs on the day, and if he were to score a run, that would be a game tie or potentially game winner with 1 down in the inning. Jordan Long has a pair of walks and a strikeout looking, and he'll work with Maverick Stallings, actually make that Ian Crump on second as we see a swing and miss there for strike number 2. Ian Crump on second, Mitch Class on first. So the pressure is on here at Bob Wren Stadium. Sebastian Silva, who has a double and then almost had a home run earlier in the game, is on deck right now as Jordan Long will take a break to take a deep breath as the energy of the game is something that is very powerful. You got to manage the energy up there at the plate as it is a very much mental game, as we've been told time and time again by all the players on the team, as Perezbeck now will take himself off the mound for a timeout as the Copperheads trail 8-7. As we saw a run come in from Mason Nadolny as Mitch Class drove him in on the single to left field. Good work from Coach Lanning as well to give Nadolny the right sign as the 0-2 is swung on in, missed for strike number 3. So 2 down in the inning. Ice Haulers 1 out away for potentially closing this game. Copperheads 1 hit away for potentially tying this game. It'll all depend on Sebastian Silva.
Big moment for Sebastian Silva. We've seen him really settle into his zone, become a really consistent, really solid hitter since he's joined the starting lineup on a consistent basis, and this would be the biggest moment of his season if he's able to drive in Ian Crump here.
First pitch to Silva. Misses the plate outside for ball number 1. So it's 1-0 to Sebastian Silva. This is a 7-inning affair, and we're in the bottom of the 7th. So this is the last inning. It's essentially the 9th inning. Copperheads trail 8-7 over the Ice Haulers. They were up as many as 5. As we'll see the 1-0 pitch. Skip across the ground. It's a pass ball, and the runners are going to get on their high horses. Ian Crump slides in smoothly to third. Mitch Class to second. Copperheads with batters in really good situation. Anything out in the right field could be a potential game winner. And Perezbeck, that was a mistake he could not afford to make. The count is 2-0 with 2 runners on. Trey Rucker warming up in the on-deck circle for the Copperheads, trying to tie this game up, send it to extra innings, or take the lead and walk it off here in front of this big home crowd who's rooting on their Copperheads with everything they got. The Copperheads playing with everything they got. We'll see the 2-0 pitch on its way from Perezbeck. It's outside, no swing from Silva, good discipline. It's a 3-0 count to Silva.
Silva going to have a big opportunity to jump on a pitch that he likes here. Now up in the count 3-0. Going to be careful not to fly one out, but
that's a walk. The bases are now loaded for the Southern Ohio Copperheads as Ian Crump's on third, Mitch Class is on second, Sebastian Silva on first after the walk, and now that brings up Trey Rucker. He has a single, a double, and a pair of groundouts as Perezbeck's going to take a little break here. Maybe we'll see another pitcher. It looks like we will see one new pitcher come in to try to get the last out of the game. Valiant effort, though, from Perezbeck, getting his team all the way back into this game as it looks like he'll get tagged out. And we'll have a break in the action, maybe trying to ice the Copperheads a little bit would only be fitting for a team called the Ice Haulers. As we'll have a new pitcher coming in as the Copperheads trail 8-7 with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Doesn't get any better than this. You've got to love baseball for moments of this sort. And we'll have it coming back to you after this little break. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. we'll resume action here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Actually, make that bottom of the 7th inning. It's the final one here today at Bob Wren Stadium. Copperheads have the bases loaded, 2 outs, and there's a new pitcher. It's Owen Kovacs, who started the last game, or actually came in the last game in relief, and is getting 2 games in today for the guy out of East Tennessee State University. The right-handed pitcher will try to close out the game. He does throw some pretty good heat and is coming in fresh, as Trey Rucker will be up for the Copperheads. Base hit ties it, and a 2-run RBI ends the game on a walk-off. Can Trey Rucker do it? He's 2 for 4 on the day. Trey Rucker sets calmly at the mound. The pitch from Kovacs, it's a deep fly ball that's going out in the center field, but it won't carry anymore, and the person in the outfield, Archer, makes the catch, and the Copperheads leave them loaded as the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers pull off the 5-run comeback. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to their playoff hopes, they were ultimately saved by Horvath's 3-run homer to left field, scoring Cross, Reinhardt, and himself. And that did it for the Copperheads as they fall today 8-7.
Tough break for the Copperheads in this one. They played really well down the stretch in this game. Aside from the errors, which again, when we talk to Coach Lanning later, he's going to reiterate the same thing. He's going to reiterate the same thing, just about the errors, and then of course leaving the runners on base as well. Both things proved to be detrimental today for the Copperheads in this one.
So the Copperheads, they fall 8-7. We'll have some post-game content coming to you here from Bob Wren Stadium. Copperheads now fall to 14-22. Ice Haulers are above 500 at 19-18. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. So the Southern Ohio Copperheads fell today, 8-7 to the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers, and we are here with Coach TJ Lanning. Coach, I know there's only a few home games left. Have you been doing a lot of reflecting, just as we're getting our last couple of home games here, just this season?
Yeah, just soaking everything in and just learning for what we can do next year about what things we can change and do different. I've enjoyed my time up here with the Copperheads this summer, and I think these guys have as well. A lot of the games haven't gone our ways, a lot of calls haven't gone our ways this summer, but I think these guys have truly had fun this summer, and that's all it's about.
It is. We've seen smiles from a lot of different players out there on the field. And despite wins or losses, we've been able to laugh at ourselves sometimes, whether it's been mistakes with us in the press box or we saw the Turf Monster come out and claim some souls. We saw Colin Ryan slip as well as Jordan Long as well. But I'm glad you guys can still have those laughing moments as well. But, again, this is a tough loss to lose not only once but twice. Do you have any words for your team after it, and what did you talk to them about?
Just to keep finishing strong. We got another game tomorrow, and we possibly have one against the Settlers on Sunday. So let's go out and just keep having fun. I mean, these next two games don't mean nothing for either teams out there. So, I mean, we're just going to go out, have fun, and play like a little kid we are and how we played when we were younger. So, yeah.
Of course, just being able to have the joy playing baseball.
Yeah.
Coach, a lot of your guys have kind of started to step up a little bit near the end of the season. You look at guys like Sebastian Silva had a rough start to the year. Clayton Hodges a rough start of the year. Some of these guys are all kind of coming into their own. What have you noticed with their games even later into the season when the games might not matter as much, but these guys are still out there every day working on their skills?
Yeah, you got to come out working hard every day, getting better, or you're not going to make it in this game. College is going to eat you alive if you don't come out and try and work to get better. But no, very proud of all the guys of how they keep coming out and grinding, how much time they spend in the cages on their off days and before our games. These guys are putting in work, and it's definitely not going unnoticed. Maybe the results aren't what they want, but, they're coming out here giving it their all. I mean, Silva's a dog for us right now, catching 4 games in a row right now. The kid's got to be tired, but I'm glad that he's back there doing it. There's no other person I'd want back there.
Yeah, he's really been toughing it out. We went and gave him a high five when he was coming up, selecting the music and everything like that. Coach, do you have a favorite memory of this season? We'll start doing like slow reflections as the year goes.
My favorite memory of the whole season is just being able to be here and play. Last year, I mean, I can't really point out one favorite memory, but I think all of it collectively is my favorite memory, because last year when I had to call all 32 players and tell them that there was not going to be a season due to COVID and whatnot, it just really sucked. So, I mean, I think my favorite memory is just actually being out here this year and having fun and being with the guys and actually playing.
Wonderful. And we were glad to have you guys out there. We've enjoyed this season very thoroughly, and we're glad we still have one more home game left, one more road game left as we reach our final stretch. But, Coach Landon, thank you for coming up here with us once again.
Thanks for the time,
so we have one more chance in this press box, funny enough. That's crazy to
Firework night tomorrow, huh?
Firework night. Let's see fireworks on the field as well as out there over left field. Hope to see a little bit of both. But
maybe Kyle Ratliff breaks the record tomorrow night.
Maybe. Fingers crossed. He's at 11. Needs 13 to tie, 14 to have it all alone in the GLSEL. I think he could definitely make it. As again, seeing another bomb go over left field, it always brings a smile to my face to make that hasta la vista call.
Hasta la vista, baby. Well, good stuff, guys. Well, thanks for having me.
Yep, no problem, Coach. Take care. So the Southern Ohio Copperheads fall today 8-7 against the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers. And some of these losses, Tim, these have been absolute gut wrenchers. Obviously, the first game of today in the doubleheader, they lost. They were down 2-1. They were in the game throughout this whole thing. They did leave the bases loaded at one point, and then things kind of just fell off in the 7th inning. And then in this game here, it was a big lead for the Copperheads. They were up by 5, and once again, for 2 days straight, they see a lead kind of slip away. and they yield a couple straight runs, 7 to be exact, and only are able to get back 1 as they fall to the Ice Haulers by just a single run. And there's been a lot of tough moments this year. Copperheads have had their chances to be able to bounce back from that, but I think this one's about as tough as it gets.
Yeah, it is tough. Giving up 7 runs after giving up 17 unanswered in yesterday's game, so a bit of a flashback probably for these guys to what they saw yesterday up in Licking County. And you're right, Sedric, and at this point, I think in the season, obviously been eliminated from the playoffs, and I think at this point now it's about these guys fine-tuning those skills these last couple of games before they head back to school and get ready for fall ball.
It is. We hope to see a lot of those advancements, a lot of the training coming back into fruition. We hope it yields at least one more win, but if not, at least some entertaining baseball, which there's been no shortage of that so far this season, especially having close games here at home that gets everybody on the edge of their seat. They ignite the crowd with home runs, and of course, obviously the big thing, will Kyle Ratliff be able to break the home run record? That's the biggest storyline for the rest of it. Not just the record for the Copperheads. He's already destroyed that one. He's now trying to destroy the record for the GLSCL total with 13 as that record by the Lima Locos in the 1990s. That's before the Copperheads existed. That's before I existed, for crying out loud. So we'll see if Kyle Ratliff can do it. But once again, from Bob Wren Stadium, the Copperheads are falling both games. They lose both games. First game 1-6, and the second game 8-7 here at Bob Wren Stadium. Want to wish a couple happy birthdays to Skylar Watts and Trevor Stevens, who's sitting right behind the camera, as well as, again, those people are people we wouldn't be able to do what we do without them. So big happy birthday to those two, 24 and 23, if my memory serves me correctly. So that is phenomenal to see. The Copperheads fall twice today as they have 14 wins on the season. They fall into 14 and 22, and will try to finish strong against the Sandusky Bay Ice Haulers tomorrow, as well as the Licking County Settlers on Sunday. For Cedric Granger and Tim Hanna, you just listened to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube.